Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Episode 122 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Support the show at patreon.com/the Wilderness Podcast. Our supporter of the week is Anthony Nietzel. Nietzel? We are also brought to you by Audible Trial. Go to audibletrial.com/wild to get a free month and a free audiobook. Sorry. Welcome to episode 122 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dills, and with me is Deegan.
Hey, how's it going?
So we have a lot to talk about this week. The first thing is continuing with the Quality of Life month. We have miscellaneous polls, anything that didn't fit in the other categories. Also, this week was a big week for the community, for the game itself. Old School RuneScape turned 6 years old. An event that has happened before, but this is the second time it's popping around, is Crack the Clue.
Well, maybe third if you include the corrupted armor. That
Yeah, but
2.5.
Yeah, that was a weird one because it wasn't a Crack the Clue. Someone just stumbled upon it, which made other people start digging to figure out where it is. Not literally digging, but you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, second Crack the Clue is out, as well as they want to introduce an expansion to the treasure trails, to the clue scrolls, so that as well. And the quest that they talked about at RuneFest, Song of the Elves, gets its first poll blog. Now, this poll isn't actually out as of this moment, but the dev blog is here. But that's not all. With community news, Jagex had a data stream to celebrate their 6-year-old birthday, and another JMod leaves the company. Are some questions being asked? I don't know, but maybe this is our chance to start asking them. And last, probably the biggest drama of the week. One of the, I was almost going to say the old school YouTubers, but he's definitely fallen from grace. And
I think he's been dethroned.
He has been dethroned.
Quite literally, the police have his computer right now.
Yeah, so some drama with the YouTuber A Friend, and
things happened, ended up, now his computer's been confiscated.
Yeah, it was almost as if he went from old school RuneScape content to a reality show, more in line with some Kardashian drama. Anyways, before we get into all that, as usual, Deegan, what was your week looking like?
Nothing.
Yeah, nice.
Actually, extremely eventful.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, oddly enough, the YouTube channel that I despise, OSRS Moments, featured one of these things I'll be talking about, because I guess the person I was with was streaming it, which I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I guess before I talk about RuneScape, a little teaser, but,
God damn it.
I, been playing some Rainbow Six Siege still.
Nice.
Fun. Good stuff. Work.
As always.
Yeah, but, okay, yeah, so for RuneScape, I got 99 Slayer.
Nice. That's a big one.
Yep. So,
you still going to continue doing Slayer? What's the deal with the PVM life?
Yeah, I'll still do post 99 Slayer as long, like, I'll hunt for bosses and stuff.
Yeah.
Some easy GP when I'm bored. I got 98 wood cutting.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and I started doing farm runs, actually. Well, tree runs. Excuse me. Yeah, I started doing some tree runs.
Any reason in particular, or is it just for the diaries that you'd been mentioning, I think, last week?
Well, I want to max one day, so yeah, just start farming now, because if I were to efficiently farm, it's about 2 months from where I started.
That's not bad.
Yeah, spend, 15 minutes a day. Well, 10 minutes and then like 18, like let's just 20 minutes. Let's just say 15 minutes per like morning and night cycle. Let's average it out. But I do 2 runs a day, 10 and then 20 minutes, just doing trees and stuff. It'd be about 2 months and a lot of GP. But, yeah, so I'm at 83 or 84 farming right now.
All right, that seems like a huge jump. You were at like 77, 75 before?
Yep. I'm gonna stop farming until I guess the episode will be out by the time I'm done, but I'm trying to experiment right now so I hit 82 farming, and that's all I needed for the Cabos Lowlands Expert, or the Master Diary.
Right, to plant the Celestial.
Yeah, I can garden pie to 85, that lets me into the last tier, and then the Celestris is 83, but the boost will still be there, so I can still plant it, and all that. But while I was at it, or is it 82? What level doesn't matter. You need 83 farming to plant a spirit tree.
Okay, yep.
And there's a spirit tree patch in there.
Yeah.
So that got me wondering. I mean, it won't be that useful. Like, it's just for fun. I just want to test this, and I have some extra seeds. I went and, with that boost, planted a spirit tree and, like, protected it in the farming guild. And I want to see if I can actually get to it without needing to boost.
Oh, so, like teleporting in.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, so I want to see if that works. And if that does work, maybe an Iron Man could utilize that somehow. Probably not. If you don't want to make garden pies every time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? But, yeah. Killed Hespori like 3 times.
It's not bad. I can see it next week where you come back and you're like, yeah, I got banned for bug exploiting.
Yeah. I just want to know, like, I'm really curious, and I, like, looked up. There's nothing that says you can or can't. So I just want an answer. And there are some people that, like, want to know, just out of curiosity. And maybe...
That's interesting, right? These little fun facts are always cool.
Yeah, and if you're an Iron Man and you don't have, like, the fairy ring or something.
Yeah.
But you, like, have, like, 82 farming. And
it could definitely be useful.
Yeah, like, if you want to get to the farming guild quickly to do, like, more herbs or something, right? Like, you could utilize it, because, Iron Man might have trouble getting seeds. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Just for fun. So, figure that out. Slayer, woodcutting, farming, and then, I guess most importantly, I was doing some raids.
All right.
And I was doing a 4-man, and we actually got a T-bow drop.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I guess this is a big week for you.
Yeah, so we got a T-bow drop.
So how much money is that per person? What did you take home?
294 mil.
God damn it.
Yeah, and then
crazy.
I got, was the next day? I got another, no, I'm kidding. I got back-to-back Dexterous and Arcane.
Actually.
Yeah, so that was super nice.
How many raids you do this week?
You don't want to know. I did a lot.
Lots?
I had like 4 days off of work. Yeah. And yeah, I've done a lot of raids.
So you got back into RuneScape swinging.
Yeah, actually to the point where I was like, I'm kind of playing too much. So I'm going to try and slow it down this week.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because like before we started, my desk was like, I left for work today, and we were going to record when I got back from work. And I'm like, I haven't cleaned up any of my shit in like a week. I had 4 days off. I played RuneScape, so I was like, all right, I'll do a quick cleaning before we record and then go back to it afterwards. Yeah, so it was actually really funny how it worked out, because last episode I was like, I ain't doing that T-bow rebuild.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And now I'm doing a T-bow rebuild. So let me explain why I completely flopped. So part of my reasoning, part of my like, I don't know if I mentioned it last episode, but I'm going to now because it's whatever. But I have a buddy who I played with a bunch, and we were both going to like rebuild towards a T-bow together. Like we're going to get a T-bow and then do the rebuild kind of like together. And he staked for like a T-bow, lost it, staked for another one, got another T-bow, and then he kind of just like stopped playing. He's not someone who enjoys skilling or questing. He just likes to PVM and make money.
Yep.
And I think he fell for the dueling arena trap where he turned like 15 mil into a bill or a T-bow twice, right?
Yeah. To a T-bow to 0 GP.
A T-bow to 0, and then he got some money back from like a buddy or something, and then staked for another T-bow, right?
Oh yeah.
And he just stopped playing pretty much right afterwards. So I'm only bringing it up because I would just like hit him up. Like I hit him up at some point during the week, be like, "Yo, let me borrow the T-bow." I know him in real life, so he knows I'm not going to take it. Well, keep it. And then he'd lend me the T-bow for like 3-4 days. I would like kill Hydra and do raids with it, and then I'd give it back to him, and then wait a couple days and I'd bug him. And asked him for the T-Bow, and I felt really bad because I realized that, like, man, he's never going to want to play RuneScape if I'm just bugging him twice a week to borrow the T-Bow.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's kind of a shitty thing to do because, like, I'm kind of putting him on the spot to be like, he has no reason to not give it to me to lend it.
Yep.
Because he's not playing. And he's also just a nice person, so he's not going to say no. And I felt really bad that I'm, like, kind of, like, cuckolding him for a T-Bow. I'm kind of like, yo, thanks to T-Bow, you know, you kind of staked for it. I'm going to just keep it pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Even though I give it back to him whenever he wants it. So I was like, I can't just do that for months. I can't, like, sell off my gear instead of rebuilding, buying 99s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And then
he comes back and you got nothing.
I have to give back the T-Bow and then just, you know, then I do my non-buyable skills, right? Like mining and wood cutting until he lets me borrow it again.
The fun skills.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I'll just do a T-Bow rebuild. If I start to, like, burn out on PVM, I'll just sell it. You care if it crashes down to a bill because I bought it almost at 1.2. Like, that's fine. That's the, like, risk I'm willing to take because whatever. I can just go back to my old plan, go back to skilling if I really hate PVM. It'll be okay. And then I had his T-Bow while I was thinking about that stuff. And then I was gonna do some Zulrah because someone in the CC was learning Zulrah. And I was like, I wanna like just T-Bow Zulrah. Just I wanna try it out. Because if I'm gonna actually rebuild, I want to see what I'm putting myself into.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty slow. It's like 2 minutes, like maybe a minute, like 40 to like 2 minutes and like 20 seconds. It's a lot slower than how I'd normally kill Zulrah. Like I'd kill it in like around a minute.
That's with a blowpipe and trident, right?
Blowpipe, trident, and then like max switches.
Yeah.
But it's super chill with the T-Bow.
Yeah.
It's like the kills are like close, almost twice as long. But like it's just like I can turn off my brain and watch Netflix and do Zulrah.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
I can see the appeal to that.
Yeah, it's so chill. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I could definitely see myself like doing 3,000 of these. You know? Like it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, like in RuneScape, I'm going off a huge tangent, but like, you know, in RuneScape, how like you get those things where you're like, I don't want to AFK something, but I want to do something active, but I don't want to have to put 100% attention to it.
Yeah, that's why I love Winter Todd.
See, I hate Winter Todd because it's like a little bit too AFK for me.
It's like the opposite. It's too non-AFK for me, but depends on what I'm doing, of course.
True, yeah. And then I found Zulrah was just like perfect. I can like it's like agility. See, I don't mind agility.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It's like once you get whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? So yeah, the T-Bow dropped. It was like I got message like a day later, be like, "Yo, I saw you on OSRS moments." Like, what? Linked me a timestamp, and then you just see me in chat, just just swipe the keyboard, and
So why was that in the OSRS moments? Was it a big freak out or something like that? Or
well, it's like a T-Bow drop for like yeah. I mean, that's like what like some of the moments are. It's just like this guy got lucky. This girl got lucky. It's not like Bodhi takes a shit on stream. It's not like, you know, there's just like a lot of it. Yeah, like whatever. So yeah, that was kind of cool, I guess. But,
yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So then I went and bought the T-Bow, and because I was at that point where like, I could have already did the T-Bow, all in.
Yep.
I could have sold like I could have unimbued my rings and done like unimbue Slayer helms. I was
that'd be
like,
hard to do.
Yeah, but I mean, I got them, and I have like 13 mil NMZ points. The world is my oyster, you know?
Fair enough, yeah.
But I was able to do like that, and I was gonna wait for like till I had like 50-ish more mil, so I could keep my Anguish and maybe my Pegasians if I was really feeling it. But with that drop, I was able to keep all my rings, all my Slayer, like all my imbues.
Yeah, definitely.
I could keep my Pegasians. I had to sell off like a lot of shit though. I was able to keep my Dragon Warhammer, which was extremely huge because that means I don't have to grind Zulrah to do Chambers of Xeric because you kind of need one for Xeric's. But yeah, I sold like everything. I went through like all my tabs. Kind of hurt, but like sold like all my runes.
It'd be kind of nice though to clear out some of that space. It's almost it's not starting fresh, but you're kind of.
I had over 100 PVM items I had to sell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of fun to me.
You know what really hurt?
What?
Remove placeholder.
Yeah.
I had like my PVM tab was like the first half of it I thought was beautifully organized with like I had all my barrow pieces and like the sets next to it. Like I had like a perfect layout. Just had to hit remove and reorganize my bank. I have like no armor. I'm like in void. But with the little money I had left over, I was able to like keep my magic tree saplings so I could still do farm runs, which I'm out now. But
it's a weird one to hold on to.
Yeah. Just like before we started recording, just planted my last seeds, and I have like 200K to my name right now.
Back to Zara.
Yeah. But yeah, so what I did was I made a plan for what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to rebuild. So what I did was rebuild like basic Chambers of Xeric items. So I'm going to I like Void is like it's good to learn Xerics and all that in, but eventually you want to move into like Arams, Carols, or something like that, or like but eventually you want to be an ancestral Arma and Bandos and have like 8-way switches or whatever.
Yeah, it does help out a lot, especially when it comes to like just the defense stats, right?
Yeah, defense, but the offense, like you snipe points. Yeah. Like you snipe crazy points when you have like good armor. It's very noticeable. But the defense is huge. But, Void's like really good to learn in and just less switches, but I want to stay in Void and I don't want to buy back Arma or Bandos or Ancestrals because my plan is to get basic Chamber of Xeric items and then like my Zenite, get all my jewelries back and all that, right? My torture and my like primordials, like all that stuff, right? Take the basic gear, the weaponry, and then start building towards like a learner setup for Theater of Blood.
Oh yeah.
So if you look at like Wook's solo guy on YouTube and look at his equipment, it's really outdated. Or like, well, we have one pinned in PVM that's more dated, and then some cliff notes about meta changes and stuff. But
that's for Chambers of Xeric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to build like that, and then, but for Theater of Blood, and then start learning Theater of Blood, and then as I get good at it, and I kind of transition from like Zara, Zoliana, Chambers of Xeric, now I have Theater of Blood, because there's some moments where I have like 8 people I can raid with now. Yeah. Just because like, making more friends like through raiding, and like, yeah, just have multiple groups of people now. I can like all pretty much like find a group with like one of them will be online wanting to raid, which is super awesome. It's not like, because I like doing solos, but
I hate solos.
No. Yeah, I like it. It's just nice and chill, but groups are better GP, and it's still, people I raid with are pretty chill, Yeah. But yeah, so it's kind of cool. I had like a list of items that I had written down for Chambers of Xeric. So I had like Tortures, Occult, Mage's Book, Primordials, the Dragon Warhammer, but I already had that done. Elder Maul, Abyssal Dagger, and I was debating putting the Dragon Hunter Lance in there, but I'm not going to. Just because you only really use it for Olm, and when I'm doing groups, I'm not on melee hand anymore.
Okay.
Not for a while yet, because there's like a lot of new strats that have been figured out since I last raided, really. So I want to like kind of learn them before I go back to, whatever. And then I have like Theater of Blood, which I'm still trying to figure out optimal items. So like all I know so far is like Dragon Claws would be like one item I need, and maybe a Kodai wand. But yeah, so I already have like the Mage's Book, I already have the Torture and like Occult and the Primordials. Like I pretty like all I have left is like Elder Maul and Abbey Dagger. Elder Maul's 17 mil now. I sold mine at 60.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So 27 more mil, and I'm done Chambers of Xeric rebuild. Unless there's like a random item that like comes up that like I need to get. Abbey Dagger is for Vasa for the crystals. And then Elder Malls for Tecton. So, like, they're, like, niche items. That's why they're at the bottom of the list.
What else is Elder Maul used for besides PvP? Maybe revs, but
range is better.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's kind of why it's 17 mil.
It's still pretty high for just having one use, right?
Well, the main reason, like, I think there's so many people raiding Chambers of Zarek now. That's why, like, that has crashed so much. But also, it's holding its value because you need it for challenge mode.
Right.
That's the only thing I can think of. Another reason why I crashed so hard is that you can now bring your Dragon Hunter Lance, and that replaces your whip, your Abyssal Dagger, and your Elder Maul, because it has a crush option.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as good as an Elder Maul, but implying someone in your team hits a Warhammer spec on Tecton, like, it's fine. Like, if you hit multiple specs on Tecton, like, you would use a whip over a Maul. I don't know what the threshold is, but number crunching and, you know, all that fun math. But yeah, so, like, it's kind of cool that, like, all my plans fell through. Like, my skilling, I might have mentioned it. You can sit down for 30 minutes and plan out what you're doing for the whole year.
Yeah.
And that's why it's, like, I kept rewriting. But now I have, like, a pretty, like, good idea of, like, what I want to focus on and how I'm going to go about doing it. And it'll be a good balance. Now I just, like, manage my time properly and play less RuneScape. Because, like, now it's like, oh, I want to kill Zulrah. And I'll just sit there and kill Zulrah and just chill, talk to people in CC and whatnot. And then do some raids. And then do a farm run, you know, and all that.
Yeah, I could never plan out my year. I have to, like, I'll do that resolution thing, but then I quickly forget even what I planned. And I always just end up kind of winging it, just doing what I feel like. I'll have a plan, like, I'm going to go home and do X. But then I come and sit down, do it for a bit. I'm like, not really feeling it. And end up doing something completely random.
Yeah. I don't know. I like having, like, general ideas and, like, if I want to do this, I can do it like this, or this, right? Like, I like knowing general things. The worst is when you log on and you just, like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then it's good to kind of have, like, things that you just fall back on, I guess.
So what happened to me, even today, I came home from school. I had a couple hours to kill. Sat down. I was like, I'm going to do some Hydra. Did a couple runs, and I was like, I'm not really feeling Hydra. I don't know what to do. So maybe I'll do some rune crafting, because I was just doing some other things on the side. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to get off RuneScape for a bit and do some house cleaning.
Yeah, it's just kind of part of it. Sometimes, like, Hydra sucks. You just have to find the fun. Like what I started doing, and I found out RuneLite plugin, but, like, a cool feature is you can do !PB and then space and type out the boss name. And it shows your personal best.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, when I get Hespori, I'm like, let's see how fast I can kill it. And, like, I have, like, random bosses where I'm, like, trying to, like, push certain times. So, like, killing Zulrah and stuff, I mean, I won't break my PB with a T-bow. Like, Hespori, I, bring, like, you know, just gear to just kill as fast as I can. The little gear I have, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to just, like, try and get personal bests. But, yeah, anyways, what'd you do this week?
So I had the week off school, and I thought I was going to be doing a lot of RuneScape, but didn't do as much as I expected. I was at the girlfriend's place, which means I was playing on mobile or my laptop when I was on it. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that when I'm playing on mobile or on my laptop, I'm like, I'm not gonna, I try to do some bossing, but knowing that I could do it so much more efficiently on my PC at home, a trackpad and stuff, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I can only do a couple kills per run, and I was like, you know, don't feel like doing this right now. So I did a little bit of RuneScape, a lot of AFKing things, and started playing some Apex Legend.
Gross.
Hell yeah!
I don't condone this.
Jumped on that. What do you have against that game?
2 weeks from now you won't be playing it.
Oh, I mean, probably now I won't be playing it. Now I'm back at my PC.
Yeah, that's just how, like, everyone, even, like, one of my coworkers are like, you play games, right, Deegan? Yeah. You played Apex Legend? No. You gotta play it, bro. It's so sick. And then I say to him, I'm not playing it out of protest. I understand it's probably a great game, but not playing it.
Yeah, I never really got into the Battle Royale games. I've tried with the culling, just fun for a bit. And then Fortnite I tried, but no, it just wasn't my thing.
You didn't like those chug jugs?
Oh, wait, what's that?
It's the chug jug. It's a big jug, a keg that you drink that fully heals and restores your shield.
Yeah. I think it was the building aspect of it. I didn't like that, and yeah, I don't know. Wasn't a huge fan of Fortnite.
The kids that grew up with Bob the Builder,
true.
That's kind of why.
Yeah, it's like Legos in a video game, I guess. But Apex Legends has been pretty fun. I have been enjoying that. Well, the problem is I just suck at shooters, so there's a lot of things that I just get frustrated with.
True.
Where like I should have had a kill, but some 14-year-old kid just destroys me.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So it's frustrating, but it's a fun game. So I'm playing that a bit. Yeah. Anyway, school started, so now that I'm back at home, I have been playing some more RuneScape. But again, like I said earlier, I'm still on that Hydra task. There's something. Hydra reminds me of Warcath. As I started getting like a fair amount of kills, for me at least, 100 kills in, I start going like, this kind of reminds me of Warcath a bit. I don't enjoy it as much as I did at first, and...
Well, why don't you... What do you not like about it?
I don't know. I think it's just like the running around. There's parts of it that just... It's my fault that I mess up, but it's just frustrating. Like, having to count each attack, which is like... Not that big of a deal, but sometimes if I want to watch something on the side or listen to it, I'm constantly being like, oh, was that his second shot or was that his third shot? And then you get smoked for a big hit, either way.
Yeah.
If you try to bring him onto a vent, there's a few times where you have to wait for the vent to shoot off, right?
Yeah.
Where he's at the corner, but then I moved too fast, so then he steps off of it right before it shoots. And then you're having to play this game where you're running around in a circle trying to drag him back onto the vent. And if it's on the red phase, you're very limited in time because he's going to walk to the center, and you're like, great, now I got to waste like a minute until I can drag him back on there.
Man, you should look at Wooks' guide and see where he brings them.
No, yeah, I did watch Wooks' guide. It's just like, sometimes I'm too fast, so he doesn't step, like, the way you do it, you run to the corners of the room, basically, and it brings him onto the vent, but it's always at the corner of the vent.
Yeah.
Which works, unless I'm too fast with it, and I'm trying to be, like, tick perfect or something, and I don't. So he walks off the vent, and then I'm having to loop all the way around, which is just a waste of time.
Well, like... I don't know. I like, maybe you should like develop a system for it. Cause like, at least for the first like half kill, I can watch Netflix just cause the more you kill him, you get a feeling for like, is he going to hit me with range or mage? And you're like, probably this. And you guess it. And you're like, oh, cool. It's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of times.
Or sometimes you're like, oh, shit. But like,
yeah,
usually, like, you can, like, I don't know, develop like an easy system where like, I know on like the first phase, he has 3 attacks. Then he spits his poison, and then his next attack will switch, because he's already done 3 attacks, so like and like, oh, okay, so it's just gonna be the opposite, and you have a lot of time to switch, and then he has 9 attacks he has to do.
Yep.
And so if you like are really slow, and you can time that, but then if you like have him set up properly, and he's about to go down, you can just like, I don't know, like I quickly tried to figure out, like, make this as, like, less thinking as possible. Stand here. Okay, he's going to do this. He's going, like, now that he's down, I can run here, and no matter what, he'll come up in his, like, next phase, and he'll just be in the middle of the event.
Yeah.
And then you just have to, like, yeah, I guess the first little bit, you really have to, like, count, and then once you do it enough, you just kind of, like, get a good feeling.
Yeah, but still, like, you'll still take the odd hit. But what I find I'm doing, and this happens when I'm at Sire, is I'll be doing the runs, I'll be like spending an hour doing Sire, and then I'll die once. And then I'm like, I don't really want to do Sire anymore. I'll go loot my body and just teleport out and go do something else. I was like, yeah, that. So a similar thing happens with Hydra, where I'll mess up, and then the kill takes twice as long because I have to keep dragging him onto a vent. This is what happened today, but I was on the red phase, and he went to the middle twice because I kept missing him off the vent. And I was just being too, I was rushing it, I guess. And then I ended up like, okay, I'm going to run out of food. I just teleported out. And I was like, not really feeling it.
Maybe you could just bring him back to like, I don't know, was it north or southwest? I don't know, like the pillar that's closest to his vent. You can just like go stand there and he'll like walk up to you.
Yeah, but like the thing, like what I do, he goes into the corner. I start running to the next corner of it to get it ready. And then I pull him off too quick. So it's like my fault because I'm like rushing it. But yeah, it can be frustrating sometimes, but it's not a big deal. But for the most part, I've basically just been rune crafting. I don't know why I've decided to do rune crafting, but it's kind of relaxing, and it's nice watching your blood rune count go up, because it goes up fairly fast, so that's been pretty satisfying. And it helps that when you do a blood rune run, like the XP drops are like 2.5k, so it feels a lot more than it actually is.
Yeah.
So, it's not too bad. But yeah, that's basically my week right there. I'm sure I'm missing something, but it's probably not important.
Before we move on, there was something we were talking about ZMI running.
Right.
For money.
Yes.
Quick note, you need 75 rune crafting to be a runner and make 4 mil an hour.
Yeah, from the official Discord. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I need a large rune pouch. That's why you need 75.
Yeah.
Totally forgot to mention that. And then someone was like, oh, I'm going to try out runecraft running. I'm like, make sure you're 75 rune crafting.
Yeah.
Oh, did we say that? I don't know if we mentioned it, but yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I ended up finding their Discord server, and I was checking it out. It seems pretty cool. But I do know that there's some people who will just stand at the altar being like 50k per inventory. So you just run up, trade him your full inventory of rune essence. He'll trade you 50k, and you're on your way.
Yep.
But those aren't as reliable, I guess. You got to actually find them. Yeah, let's hop into the news. Lots to talk about this week.
So before we jump into the miscellaneous polls, shall we go over what passed the week before?
That is right. So this was the reruns. And we can speed run this because there's a bunch that didn't pass.
I think there's one that passed.
Yeah. So the Wilderness Ditch being removed did not pass. Wasn't very close. And the next question, should spell icons increase with the increase in size when you have the filters enabled? This is for PvE, not for PvP. Did not pass, but it was pretty close with 73.6%. Should the Divine Sigil drop be added to the Corporeal Beasts loot table? This did not pass with 72.8%, so that one was close. Not sure why it didn't pass. That's kind of surprising.
See, I don't know anything about that item and how it affected RuneScape 3, so I don't know what people are afraid of. But yeah.
Yeah, it was an odd one. And this one's even weirder. Should we remove Hatus Casientus? He'd be replaced with G or Gee. That's the Lumbridge Farmer. Didn't pass with 64.9%. So I guess, do some people like this person? Or maybe people don't?
I think a lot of people didn't really know. I have no idea. Maybe it's a meme to hate him because we ain't him, but I genuinely don't like how he looks.
No, he looks, he looks odd, and most people find it hurts the integrity of the game, especially when new players join, and that's the first thing you see. Not the first, but it's one of the first people you see.
Maybe they just want the Lumbridge Guide to be the person so badly that they voted no.
Yeah, I don't know. The next question, should you be able to rearrange the spell icons in the spell book? This is for PvP, this is not for PvP, and it's for PvE only. Did not pass with 67%. Should players be able to do the same thing with prayer icons? Didn't pass, 67% as well. Should the model for the Armadillo helmet, when worn by females, be reworked to more closely resemble the male version? Because it looks pretty dumb on a female. It kind of looks more like a coif than the actual Armadillo helmet versus the male counterpart. Didn't pass, though, with 71.8%. Another one that I don't quite understand. The only argument I saw was people like the way it looks on a female model.
Okay.
So if anything, they would prefer the male version to look similar to the female version. I don't know. I'm not sure why that one passed. And then the ones that did pass, should this prayer skill guide be updated to show the relevant prayer icons in the skill guide? That one did pass. Should the Dragon Defender model be reworked to appear more red than pink? That one did pass. And I guess another odd one, but should players be able to click on the special attack orb on the minimap to use your special attack? This is only for PvE and not for PvP. That one did pass, so I did see some people complaining about that, but whatever.
See, the only thing I can think of is that it's annoying. I mean, I use F keys, so I use my F1s and stuff to switch my tabs, my inventory tabs, and it is annoying when you're like AFK woodcutting to hit F1, click special, hit escape to go back to keep track of your inventory, and then I go back to my other game that I'm playing.
Yeah.
And in like a PVM scenario, I would never click the orb.
No, yeah.
It's way more of a mouse movement. Well, because I play on resizable.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming for other people, they like...
I could see it being helpful for mobile.
Yeah.
But...
I think it's for skilling and maybe mobile. I don't really know. If anything, it just makes someone not want to use F keys while they're PVMing, and I really think you should use F keys.
Yeah, it takes a bit to get used to, but once you do, it's super. Like, I don't know if I could play without one.
Yeah. And then miscellaneous stuff.
Yeah, let's get into what polls are for this week.
Poll question 1. Should the achievement diary requirement that asks players to complete a round of Trouble Brewing minigame be changed to only require they enter the lobby instead?
The thing is, nobody plays Trouble Brewing. If you go there to do your diary, you have to wait for other people to show up who are also looking to do their diary.
I mean, when I did it, I had like one guy. I'm like, what do I do? He's like, don't worry. And I'm like, you're doing this minigame? He's like, yeah, I'm collecting. Like, oh, and that just like AFK'd.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying because you'll have to wait like 5-10 minutes for people to show up. I had like 2 to 3 people on my team, and the other team had the same. All doing the achievement diary though. Nobody knew what to do. That being said, I had a lot of fun when I was playing it, and it made me wish more people played it because you have different jobs to make rum or other alcoholic beverages, but there's things like collecting the ingredients, putting them in the machine, putting like water in the machine or something. But everyone has their own little thing they can be doing. But what you can also do, because the other team's doing the same thing, you can get like, I think it was wood. But you can go and set fire to their machine so they can't actually make it.
Because no one knows what they're doing, you just win.
And it's you're being a bit of a dick. Well, not really, because like it's not like they don't get their achievement diary if you do this. So for me, I was doing that though, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, weird. Poll question 2. Should the quest tab be changed to have a 4 tab system, similar to how the player design one shown below? And well, we can't show you, but it's pretty much like you click the quest tab, and then instead of having just like those buttons,
that they jump around.
Yeah, they interchange colors depending on which menu you're looking at. It's now like a tab system that looks really clean. Mm-hmm. And this image that was like drawn up was provided by Gentle Tractor, who does like a lot of really cool suggestions. And there's usually one, like they usually not usually, but sometimes they'll actually make it into like quality of life. And it's not like the first time he's done a suggestion.
No, he's done a bunch. So when the Great Kurend or Zaya was released, we've talked about this before, but it was basically just a square. Every house had their own area, but their area was just a square. And it just looked pretty silly. Gentle Tractor went onto the subreddit. He created his own version of Zaya, being like, this is my map design. Like, I think they should make it like this because it looks like an actual continent instead of just something lazily put together. Well, that started the ball where the JMods decided to take a step back and redesign the map of Zaya, which is what we have today. It's not the exact design that Gentle Tractor did, but it's pretty damn close.
Yep.
And he also did the same thing when Neve's Cave was still a big thing, where Neve's Cave had every monster for Slayer, for the most part, stuck into her area. What everybody was doing was just, they would, get the Slayer task, go straight into the cave, kill it, leave, get another Slayer task, go back into the cave. That's what everyone was doing, and it just looked stupid because you had like a dozen. It looked like the way the catacombs are.
But it was condensed.
It was condensed, and it was just for Slayer.
Yeah.
So it was kind of stupid, and so yeah, he came up with a design of destroying the cave for the most part, or at least nerfing it so it wasn't as big, didn't have as many monsters, and then spread all the other monsters out, and they ended up doing that. So yeah, he's the one who came up with this concept.
Yeah, and I do like the UI. It's user friendly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Poll question 3. Should the right-click travel option on VIOS be split into Great Kurend and Land's End, allowing players to travel to each destination more conveniently? Currently, it requires going through a dialogue box selection. Now, that's quality of life.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. Again,
saves you holding spacebar.
Yeah, but it just brings back to the thing where everything has a right-click option. There's, like, dialogue boxes are just going to be disappearing slowly.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. But not a big deal.
Poll question 4. Should the process of cleaning finds in Varrock Museum be streamlined? This would include being able to take more than one rock from the box at a time. Cleaning process is automated. such as like the ones that we talked about before, where it'd be faster to do it manually, but
Sounds good. Yeah,
or
cleaning.
actually, I take that back. No, wait, I double take that back. That's how they want it to be. Never mind.
Yeah, it's very slow when you're doing it, so
Yeah, the main uses are niche accounts that need those experience lamps that you can get like 250 experience an hour doing it,
yeah.
and getting the dig site pendant.
Yep.
And it's super annoying.
And the kudos, obviously.
Oh yeah, the kudos, yeah, for Foss Island, yeah, it's super annoying, and I think they should really do this. It's a very dated system that pick one, clean it, pick one, clean it.
Yeah,
Anyways, poll question 5: should Mystic robe sets be created at the Grand Exchange set thingy? You know, you can like
you get
buy
boxes.
and sell like the whole robe sets.
Yeah.
And separate them by color, obviously. I think that'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Should the number of trades you're able to see in your Grand Exchange history be doubled from 20 to 40?
Oh, hell yeah. The more the merrier.
Wasn't it like 10 or 15 at one point? And they like put it to 20?
I don't know, but
Now they're doing it. Now they want to do it to 40. Can you? How about this? How many things can I see? Just set it to that.
yeah, put it to the
Stop
max.
polling it every year and just like,
Or let me go on the website, maybe.
yeah.
Let me go look at some data of my account, being like, oh, these are all the trades you've made,
Mm.
whatever. So I would like to know if I'm flipping something that I don't have to write it down if I forget if it's been like a week or two. And next thing you know, I've sold a bunch of things, and now it's cleared off my history.
I'm saying RuneLight needs a merchanting GE type portfolio
Oh, that'd
where
be
you can
sweet.
go into your history and tag items, and it'll just like save it. And then when you go and like sell it, you could like tag that, and then it would like whoop, They need any RuneLight devs listening. Yo, hit me up. I got some good ideas. Anyways, poll question 7: should the chat box on mobile stay open or closed based on your previous session? It opens when you log in or change worlds. I think that, like, obviously, yeah,
Sure.
it's annoying having to like close every time.
Yes.
Should the restriction requiring players to assemble a dark totem before being able to receive more pieces be lifted? So as of right now, if you don't know, once you have the bottom, base, and top of a totem, you can't actually get any more totem pieces until you make a full totem,
Mm-hmm.
which means depending on where you are in your Slayer task, you're like, should I just leave now, go to the bank, assemble it, and jump back in so I can start building my next totem? They want to just remove that annoyance and have it so you can just like stack pieces.
Seems fair, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on it.
Poll question 8. Should a counter be added to the brimstone chest found next to Konar on the Mount Kurum to track how many times you've opened it? Why wasn't this pulled last week? I just used all my keys. Had a nice stash. But yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, more information, the better.
Poll question 10. Should players be able to add blamish oil to the pearl fishing rod obtained from Owry in the lake mulch to create an equipable oily fishing rod? Yeah?
Sure. Helps for my clue scrolls. I don't have to keep making another oily fishing rod.
Poll question 11. Should the expert mining gloves effect of occasionally not depleting a rock apply when mining amethyst? I've never mined amethyst. All I know is that Venezuela and gold farmers do it. If there's anyone that actively likes to train or like make money by doing this, because it's like super AFK, hit me up.
Why, you just want to know?
I just want to know if people do that aren't gold farming.
You're trying to assemble a little clan of amethyst miners.
Yeah. I've been buying so many amethyst arrows because I have a twisted bow now, guys, by the way.
Shit.
That I want to know who am I buying from? Yeah, I'm gonna just bring up a T-bow randomly. We'll be like in a debate and be like, all right, who's got a T-bow?
Yeah.
I do, so I'm right.
Can't wait to get mine. I can't wait to get mine in a scythe before you.
Just steak. That's the key. Poll question 12. Should a Black Knight kill be counted or be added after wanted quest? Currently the quest log shows the White Knight rank, but not how many kills you have achieved.
Right. Oh, this brings me back because I haven't done this since I was like a kid playing. So if you want to get like White Knight armors, or it's the you get rankings for the White Knight after doing the wanted quest, but you can I think it has to do with like pictures or your shield emblem as well. There's different shield emblems you can get.
Okay.
And Yeah, you just have to kill Black Knights, and it'll give you like a ranking, like novice, rookie,
Yeah, and
squire.
that unlocks you to wear the white armor as well, yeah.
Yeah, different parts of it and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it would be pretty cool to have a counter, I guess, instead of just having to go on the wiki to see what the hell does squire mean.
Yeah. Poll question 13. Should Sanabok, is that how you say that name?
Sure.
Should Sanabok have a right-click quick pay option? Currently, players have to go through the dialogue to enter the Brimhaven dungeon. That's the Brimhaven guy that you give 700 or something, 50 gold?
675.
Yeah, a random amount of coins.
Maybe it's 975.
Yeah, who knows? To enter?
Yep.
Yeah, if this question passes, you'll also be able to pay automatically, so you don't need gold in your inventory.
Ooh, not bad.
Yeah, I guess this is the effect of Konar. More right clicks, more right click, quick pay, travel options. People are out exploring now, and they realize it sucks.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah. Should players have the option to pay Sanabok a one-time fee of 1 mil to have permanent access to the dungeon? Sure, but honestly, how many times do they pay to get that money back?
We could do the math.
I guess we could, but like, it was kind of rhetorical. As in, like, who's entering it so often? It's going to be a lot, though. Poll question 15.
It's 1,000 times. Let's pretend like the goal's 1,000 to get in.
Oh, if it's 1,000, then yeah, but like, I don't know if it's like 650. How much is it how much is it to pay? That's the real question.
But yeah, so it's going to be more than 1,000 times.
Yeah, okay, well.
I did I'm such an idiot. I went to Google to get the answer for that. I must have typed it in wrong, but it gave me 3.506847 times 10 to the negative 28 M3 kilograms S negative 2 with K negative 2. I don't know what the hell that means.
10 to the power of negative 28. Is that M3 or meters cubed? M to the power of 3. I can't read from back here. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah.
Poll question 15. Should animations be added for when a player tips arrows, bolts, or darts and adding feathers to the shafts? These animations would not affect the rates, so EHP won't be changed. It would not prevent movements or other interactions. Because right now there's nothing that happens, right?
Yeah, you just stand there.
I don't know.
Sounds good to me. I'll take unique animations.
Well, I guess we'll know who's being efficient or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be able to massage their backs, rub their shoulders, and smell their chair afterwards.
Hell yeah.
Poll question 16. Should the model of the Xerix talisman be graphically reworked to assemble a Xerix symbol? Currently, the model is a recolored amulet of Manspeak. If this question passes, the mounted version of the talisman would also be updated. I think so. Recolors are always bad.
Yeah, they're boring.
Yep. Poll question 17. Should players be able to use noted molten glass when crafting? No, I'm kidding. when giving Oldak supplies to the Dorgushan to create Dorgushan spheres?
Who's making spheres?
Caveman only Iron Man?
Yeah, that one dude. It's this sphere that teleports you back to Dorgushan?
Yep. Sure.
Yeah.
That's definition of quality of life right there.
But for who?
Yeah, for that one. Hey, this is a restricted account specific update. Jagex said they wouldn't do that. Integrity issue. Poll question 18. Should the Cramter gloves earned through the diary be graphically updated to match the rest of the set? Yeah.
Yep.
Why do they not match?
Half of these are just boils down to like, if they don't pass, I'm going to be super confused why.
Yeah. Should the Godspell icons in the standard spellbook be recolored to make them more distinct from one another?
Yeah. They're all just red.
I kind of liked that though.
Yeah.
I thought it was badass, but whatever. I don't really use them, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But
I don't think anyone does.
Poll question 20. Should Drew and his machine for breaking down sandstone into buckets of sand, as described below, be added into the game? You're like, Deegan, what? And this is what Drew and his machine are and what they do. So to the west of the quarry, a new NPC Drew will be added alongside their grinding machine. Players hand Drew noted buckets that he will hold for safekeeping. Players may then mine nearby sandstone, deposit it into the grinding machine, unnoted only, and depositing sandstones will be added charges to the machine based on the size of sandstone. 8 charges for 10 kilogram, 4 for 5, 2 for 2, 1 for 1. At any point, players may talk to Drew and gain. Okay, they're wording this awfully, but
we need. Who was writing these before? They need to come back.
yeah.
This is hard.
So pretty much, you can talk to them and then gain noted buckets of sand at the cost of the sandstone chart that you've used, an empty bucket, and then 50 GP.
Yeah.
My only thing is that people have banked 99 crafting via the sandstone exploit that they found near the Camulet teleport. So there's a very minor Iron Man, a group of Iron Men and women that, like, I don't know how close a bank is to the quarry or a merchant. Because evidently, if you are like a high-end Iron Man, I mean, you probably have 99 crafting, but money really isn't an issue at a certain point. Especially when we talked about it last episode, and we even talked about Drew and his machine last episode, the episode before, but for all the new listeners, I guess.
Before he had a name too.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Why isn't it like a pun? Like, why
Why
isn't his name Corey? Like Corey? Good. Like, yeah. Come on. I think, like, we mentioned it before, but for any new listeners, what Iron Man typically do, they, do the annoying thing with, like, soda ash and buckets of sand to make the molten glass. This is why the sandstone is going to be added. Another way to get it. So you don't have to, like, do charter hoppings and you get mining experience while you're at it. But you get your molten glass, you make air orbs, you charge them at, like, the air altar. You get your battle staves through, like, PVM, your dailies, the Celestis tree now, whatever. Buy them from Zaf. Do what you gotta do. And then you get more experience by making the staves, but then you alch them. And you just, like, can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
You get a lot of magic experience, a lot of crafting, and then if this comes in, mining experience too. It's very macro efficient, leaves you a lot of money. But if someone, like, already has a lot of money, let's say they're trying to push those final levels, they could spend a lot of the money that they don't need into just, if there's a merchant nearby, with their stack of, like, sandstones that they're able to bank at a crazy rate because of the exploit, which you teleport and click a pile for an inventory and then you just teleport back to a bank. That's what they were doing. You would just go to a merchant, sell 25, buy 25, run back, and it could be, like, really fast. You just toss them all in. That's the only thing I can think of one of the reasons why it'd be kind of sketchy to have this concept in. But as a whole, we talked about the numbers last episode on how it's pretty much not, like, it's like chartering is still faster. So if you want to be efficient, you're still going to want to charter. But if you want to be more macro efficient and you want to tick manipulate, this would be, like, a really good thing to add potentially.
Just weird. This seems like such a small issue, but we've been talking about it for 3 episodes. Like,
well, like, the main thing, it sounds small, but it opens up a change for, like, a complete change in, like, a meta for a really important skill. Like, crafting is super important. It gates your first glory, unless you want to do hunter, but it also gates your Zenite jewelry, your torture, your fury. Like, it does gate really important items. That's the only reason why I think it's worth bringing up, because it's one of the most important skills that, like, you kind of have to work on as an Iron Man, and, like, it's a big barrier between, like, a good account and a bad account.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is it for quality of life. Now we move on to Old School RuneScape's 6th birthday.
Yeah, with a little bit of quality of life trickled in there.
Yeah. So, happy birthday, Jagex. Congrats.
Pretty crazy. It's been out for 6 years, still going pretty strong.
Yep.
The birthday was February 22nd. But what's kind of interesting is they had a stream that they kind of talked about Old School RuneScape, and they talked about, like, when they first started. It's pretty interesting. It's 2 hours long, but the second hour is all about the data, which we'll go into in a little bit. But what Mod Ash was saying is, if you look at MMOs, they generally have a 7-year lifespan before they, like, really get hit hard. Obviously, you start seeing the effects of that beforehand, where numbers start trickling before that 7th year, but that tends to happen, and he used EverQuest and a few other examples, like older examples that aren't really around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of interesting, but they said with old school RuneScape, their numbers are still increasing.
Keep in mind, we're like, I was thinking of like old school RuneScape as like, well, first of all, it's a circus, but with all the shit, we're gonna talk about a YouTuber's computer being you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like the game is like goddamn circus.
It's more than a game at this point.
It's a circus.
Yeah.
And like the player base are like those guys cycling on the ropes, on like the high ropes.
Okay.
But we have two people standing really far apart and high up holding them. One's Jagex and the other's the servers.
Okay.
And it's like at any moment we're waiting for them to let go, and then like the player base is just done.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, it's like, I don't think it's gonna die this year, but I could easily see it dying this year. Like, you could do microtransaction. Boom,
Yeah.
game's dead. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's not microtransactions specifically. Well, eventually it was the problem. But, yeah, like, the game came out 2001. 2007, the Wilderness was removed, and what happened?
Well, the game didn't, like once EOC came out, that's when the game, like, started going down hard.
I would say the big first hit was the Wilderness and Free Trade.
Yeah.
And if you watch their documentary, they have a 15-year documentary of RuneScape as a whole. It's actually really good. I do recommend watching it. They talk about that when they made that change, their numbers got hit hard.
Yeah, and it's funny enough with, side note, but with this mining company that's like selling Jagex,
Mm-hmm.
we're selling it on year 6. Who wants to buy it? Wait, we're not dying. We're growing. We're not dying in a year. I know all these games die in 7 years. I know we died at one point during our 7th year. But hold on, wait, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
someone buy us. It's not EA or Activision, please.
Look at Maple Story. What happened to that game?
It died.
Yeah, 7 years in. Maybe, actually. Probably around that number. It got hit hard. It's going strong for a while there.
Yeah.
What's with the numbers? They say that same thing about marriages. They say that 7-year part is when most of the divorces happen. People just, like, get involved to something for 7 years, then they're just like, you know what, I'm getting sick of this shit.
Was there anything I started and stopped doing for smoking? I quit cigarettes. It took me 7 years.
I was about the same.
Yeah.
I really started smoking cigarettes when I went to college when I was like 19. I quit a couple of years ago. So it was less than 7 years, but still around that number. What else?
I think that's it.
Well,
Weird. Yeah, I don't know.
so get your grinds in. This could be the last year of Jagex.
Start taking every screenshot for 7 years from now when old school comes out and you're like, check out this. My first Zalra kill.
Actually, you know how people do that? I take a photo of myself every day for 7 years or something. Do that
Yeah.
with your old school RuneScape account. It's not a bad idea, actually.
OS Buddy does have a feature, like a hidden feature where it takes a picture of every level you get on that client.
Yeah. I think RuneLight does too.
Yeah.
If you enable it.
I had it enabled and then I reformatted my PC and lost like Deegan, like, you know, I had a screenshot of me hitting 1,000 total level I lost.
Oh, shit.
And 1337.
I went through and deleted all my old photos because it's taking up so much space. Every level, every clue scroll, every Barrows run, it would take a picture automatically. I just had like 7 gigs of photos. Like, Christ. Yeah. It was their birthday this week, so they have a little fun event going on there.
Yep. So the Grim Reaper has come to destroy RuneScape.
Have you checked out their party room?
I have not, but they did add a little thing, right?
So yeah, like each year they have a room where they have not statues, but displays of like the updates that came out for that year. So it's kind of cool. You can walk from room to room and see what came out, and yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, obviously the big ones, Theater of Blood, mobile. It's funny if you examine the mobile display, it says like released because it tells you what day it was actually released.
Yeah.
But that one says released winter 2017. Whoops, never mind. And then it gives you the actual date.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
So they're aware of it.
Yeah.
And there's a little mini game you can do. Not mini game, but little mini quest that comes with all these holiday events. And yeah, it's pretty easy. You got to get some stuff for some of the people partying there. And you get a birthday cake.
Is it like is it edible or is it like equipable?
Equipable, so it's like the giant present you get for Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. But it'll take you like 5 minutes. You need a cabbage. You need to get a letter and bring it to the Falador Castle. You need to buy a beer from the Falador pub, and you need to fill a beer glass of water. So you don't really need to even leave Falador, because that's where the party room is. It'll take you like 5 minutes. Oh, and I think it was last year, but you get the iconic sword that's dividing up Rune and Scape.
Yeah, not bad. Alongside with that, they had an update on the merch store. So you'll be able to buy a gnome child holding, some balloons with with 6 on it.
Yeah, not bad.
Little pin and key rings and all that.
In the stream, they had a quick little commercial for the pins, and it was super cheesy, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell that they were going for that angle. Yeah, it's very, very cheesy and lame, but that was the point of it. It showed like people just like walking around with the pin on it out in the sun and stuff, and them being all super happy because they had the pin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? We forgot to talk about some controversy in the intro, and we're going to talk about it now, which is related to the quality of life updates that they were talking about. And it's really funny.
That is right.
It's really funny for everyone who is a pure.
Or isn't a pure. I'd say if you're a pure, it's not as funny.
Well, it's like to laugh at them, I guess. But anyways, so with auto casting and attack styles, they did some... Okay, originally didn't seem like a big deal, but now I'm like, oh, they made the game a lot easier. It's convenient, but it's a lot easier now. And I can bitch about that for like 10 minutes if you want me to. But, yeah, so they came out with an update that made it so the type of weapon you use remembers your attack style.
Yep.
Upon that update being introduced, staves were giving the wrong experience for attack styles you used. So, hey, Obby Maulers that train with a Slayer staff and it's set to strength, you would be getting attack experience. Hey, Obby Maulers with like 80 plus strength, you're going to just drop like a 20 when you're training on sand crabs, and boom, there's 5 levels of your attack right there.
Yeah.
So a lot of accounts got ruined. The attack styles were defaulted as well.
Right.
They all went to like attack or something default, so people would just accidentally train. They said that you can address so everyone who gained experience in the wrong attack style or whatever during this can go to a form they link on Twitter and on this post, but you go to the bug details, and then they have like a QFC code, quick find code, so I'm assuming it means, or quick forum code, I have no idea. But you go there and you can post about it, they'll investigate your account, and then they will remove the experience.
This is it. Get to that 5 defense, equip that steel plate body, and then request your account to be fixed.
Yep. Or well, you can't do it now, but sneak in a Soulsbane, go from 1 to 5 defense, get your Varrock mediums done, and then put in a request and like hope that they can't tell how you got the experience.
Don't do that. I mean, it's too late now, but if you had done it, they probably would see it.
Yeah, no, they say that they're not able to do like experience removal and all that, but they can. They say they don't monitor accounts, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
How else do you find real world traders?
Yeah,
but they say they don't because they get annoyed of like, hey, I have 10 experience on my skiller on attack. Can I not have that?
Yeah, and they'd get flooded with all these requests. And it's not so much now, but it used to be way worse on the subreddit where people would talk about them getting wrongfully banned.
Yeah.
And they get annoyed as it is because every time they check into it, they're like, no, you didn't get wrongfully. You stopped real world trading.
Yeah. Hey, you bought this account off Scythe. Hey, you sell your account on Scythe like 30 times.
Yep.
Or Zybez, whatever the thing is, where people
eBay
sell their accounts and then just take them right back for free money.
Yeah. I remember, a little side note, but I remember back in the day, people would sell their accounts on eBay. But for some reason, they weren't allowed to sell their actual account. So what I would have always said was selling joke, but it comes with a free RuneScape account. Yeah, that was their way around it. I think it's like similar to if it's illegal where you're from to hire a prostitute, some people would say like you buy them something. And then it's not you're not paying for services.
It's a massage therapist that you just so happen to tip $500 and
that, or you don't.
Now you got some bumps,
but you don't give them the actual money. You spend it on a gold necklace, and now it's an exchange of gifts with your mistress, as opposed to paying for a service.
Oh,
something like that.
iTunes gift cards. Hey, the FBI wants their tax returns in iTunes gift cards. Anyways.
Sending hookers out to collect it.
Yeah. So, that being said, with that controversy, it was really funny to look at, and I was very happy I didn't log into my Omni Mauler, because I've been tempted to play it, but I'm trying to plan out another novelty account, just for Fashionscape, but I also want to have a secondary use. And
wait, how do you make a Fashionscape account? Isn't that just your main?
I have a sweet name that like is open that I haven't even reserved it yet. And I'm going to after we're done recording, and then I already have the Fashionscape planned, and like I gotta find a use for the account so I don't just like steal a name and like, hey, I spent a bond and like a couple mil in this account just for novelty's sake.
What name is it?
I'm not gonna say the name.
Oh, come on.
I gotta make the account first. Once the account's done, I'll log into the CC, and they'll be like, hey guys, come find me for a couple mil.
It's gonna be like Keegan.
Nah.
Jeegan.
Nah, it's good. It's good.
Geegan? Geeden.
No one, I don't even, what is that a reference? It's a reference to the game, but anyways, it's good. Like, I have Rule 34 Neve. I have that account.
Yeah, it's kind of old news now, though.
I think it's funny. I don't know. It's a novelty account.
Gotta explain it a bit now.
Well, everyone knows what Rule 34 is.
Yeah, but those Neve pics are
still works.
Old news.
Still works.
They're in the archive.
They're on the fandom website under the Rev Cave section. I've seen it. Anyways, so autocast options. So mage weapons or magical weapons which share the same spell selections will now remember the chosen spells.
Cool.
Which means you can switch between your various weapons, knowing that the same spell will be ready when you switch back to your staff or wand. Doesn't work in PvP, just PvE.
Of course.
And then combat styles, so daggers, swords, bows, and all that stuff. They'll remember the combat style which has been selected, but separately. So if you have like a Hasta, it'll remember that. Blowpipe, or it'll remember it's rapid, but like a dark bow will remember it's accurate. All that stuff.
Nice, I like that.
I think that just the staff is set like that with the auto-casting spells. I am pretty sure attack styles are relevant to PvP still. Like, so just...
Yeah, they would imagine you walk into the wilderness and it reverts it to whatever it was at some point. It would have to.
Yeah, like the PvP exclusion is just auto-casting spells, which means if you're like a pure, which there's one that pokes his head around RCC with 99 attack and strength.
Right.
They could now bring a DDS and a whip while they PK, because you would DDS spec on the strength option for the max hit, and then if you went to your whip, you'd hit him with the lash and you get defense. But now it could be flick and then whatever. So I
remember this was a while back, and I know I talked about it, but this is way back. I was at the catacombs. There was a pure who was bursting Necrials, I think they were, and they accidentally hit the defense option to cast a spell, and they cast one spell, and it got them from like 0 to level like 13 defense.
Ouch.
Yeah, one cast. I don't know if that's right, but a couple casts.
Yep. Sucks to suck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess they give an example, so I guess we'll go over it. But if you use an ancient staff in autocast mode and you're on the spell book, you can correctly select an ancient spell, then switch to a sword. You come off of autocast, but you switch back onto autocast. So if you try and switch with a fire staff, which cannot cast ancients, it'll correctly switch to melee mode because it can't cast ancients. Does this make sense?
I think.
So then, if you re-equipped ancient, you will not be put on autocast because staffs can't cast ancient.
Right.
And it can't engine work.
Okay.
So that's like the one weird thing to make a note of. But you can do like a sword back. Do you want to hear me complain why this is bad?
Are you going to anyways?
I mean, if you want me to, I can. It lowers the skill ceiling in PVM.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's just one thing that separates someone that is like going out of the way to optimize something. The easiest example that I could draw from is Vasa. This is it makes it very important on Vasa.
Why?
So let me run you through how you kill Vasa. For people who haven't rated or haven't heard me talk about it, blah, 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 blah. Vasa's this dude, or this wizard, that like, the room is, I hate to say it, but I'll say it like this. The room is kind of designed like a windmill. That's the most PC way I can put it.
Okay.
Like a swastika, but a windmill.
Oh, the map design. Okay.
Yeah, that's how the room is designed. And he starts in the middle.
Jesus, Jagex.
And he will pick a crystal, and then he will like path to that crystal, right? So he walks like a knight to an L shape.
Right. Okay.
To one of the
We're throwing in chess references.
Well, I just don't want to keep saying like one of the parts of a swastika. But he'll go to like one of the sections, and then while he's doing that, you have like your range gear, and you're ranging him, and you're like on rapid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a blowpipe or T-bow, whatever it is. And then once he gets to the crystal, you have to run to the other side of the crystal. But yeah, you meet him on the crystal, and you have to swap to a stab weapon, preferably. Well, a weapon that uses its stab type, because that's how you kill it. During that, like, unless it's an abyssal dagger, which made the Abbey dagger really nice, because its stab is on the strength option, strength shares rapid. Mm-hmm. But if you use like a Hasta or a Hunter Lance, you'd be on slash. So you have to quickly change it to accurate as you're running, as you're putting on your gear, and as you're putting on piety, right?
Okay.
So if you're quick with your switches, you're using F keys, and you're keeping in mind to put on the right attack style, and if you're positioning yourself correctly, you can kill the crystal, which is pretty much on like, let's just say a pool of 45. I don't know what the time is, but it's like a pool of 45 seconds that once that drains, the crystal will break, and then Vasa heals, goes the middle, does some damage to some people. And like the whole point is you want to kill as quickly as possible, because you want him to be able to like, just be walking and not healing as much as possible. So, and there's a lot to do, because like you have to position close enough to the crystal that you can quickly get there. Like you want to do as much damage, but then also start damaging the crystal with your melee weapon ASAP so it doesn't heal. Mm-hmm. You gotta switch all your gear. You gotta put piety on, and then most likely switch attack styles too. But with this new option, you don't have to worry about your attack style. So now it's just gear and piety.
Yeah, fair enough. I can see your point.
And like one workaround was like I put all my range gear on the top right section, because while I'm like stabbing it, I can right click to my swipe or my strength option, hit my key, and then it's hovering over my gear. So he would break the crystal, I'd left click, switch, double click quick prayers, so I have the right prayers up, and then go back at it, right?
Yeah.
So like I went out of my way, and I'm not special, but most people who do Vasa and they're trying to be efficient about it, like go out of their way to find little tricks to optimize certain scenarios. Same thing with like Ulm, and you have like a Hunter Lance, stabs the best, you want to be on like accurate. But if you're like on melee hand in a group, you want a long range with your trident, so you have to like switch. So it takes like a lot of like the barrier between someone that's like really that goes out of the way to optimize. I'm only bringing up raid examples, so it's like all I've been doing. So like if I'm just
it's like one of the most relevant. The only other one I can actually think of is like Cerberus or Kraken too, but that's like I'll use the blowpipe. I have to put it on long range. Then when I switch my trident, I want to put that on the rapid.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Which,
I mean, there's probably a million examples. PKing, I guess, if you don't want to get experience and ruin your account. But like obviously, that's just a kind of a meme. But there's definitely more examples. But I can only like off the top of my head can just think of Vasa and like kind of Ulm.
Yeah.
But just like going back a couple episodes ago, I guess last episode with like the quality of life stuff that wouldn't be affected in PvP, but PvE, that whole thing. It just it's like one thing that sounds minor, but then in like a vacuum of like a pretty dedicated community, I guess, it does like lower the skill ceiling. And well, for me, it takes the fun out of going out of my way to like this is annoying. How can I make it less annoying? Or like more optimal. I shouldn't use the word annoying. That ruins my argument. But like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I find it like fun to kind of come up with like, set up my inventory like this because this. And, they kind of remove that. But I will say, it's so fucking convenient. Like, I can now Warhammer spec on accurate every time.
Yeah.
I don't have to accidentally spec on defense.
That's true.
But lowering skill ceiling. But whatever. But that being said, it is extremely convenient. Like,
it is nice.
You might want to start doing Vasa now. They made it easier.
Yeah, although that wasn't the problem that kept me away from it.
No.
It's everything else.
Just don't like the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm against that swastika.
Yeah.
It's not cool, man.
But yeah, anyways, that was my little 10-minute spiel on
yeah, it's a fair argument.
Escape.
But the problem is, like, yeah, when you weigh the pros and cons, right?
I mean, it's like, holy shit, this is convenient, but, and the second you add a but, it's like, well, is this quality of life, or is this, like, changing the already decently low skill ceiling of the game?
I wouldn't say it's bringing down the skill ceiling, because I don't know. I wouldn't consider that, like, I don't know.
So,
because like a lot of the times I'm just lazy, right?
Yeah, but that's bad.
Yeah.
Like, what's next? They should just.
I'm lazy because it's tedious.
But should they have it like? Well, what's the next like for next month? Next year? Should quality of life be if you equipped a rune crossbow, it automatically unequips your defender because you should never use a defender when you're ranging or like maging. You know what I mean? Like, should it just start taking off gear? It's annoying as hell. The minus style attack style like isn't the biggest deal, but it separates someone who goes out of their way to like you know what I mean, to optimize and like push themselves. It's like one brick out of like a wall that could easily come crumbling down.
Yeah.
Only thing I'll bring up is that this is like extreme. This is going to the extreme. This is not applicable at all. Well, it is, but the way like Blizzard changed how raiding was from vanilla, where the boss fights were like pretty basic mechanic wise. The issue was like warlocks can't DPS that much because they'll pull aggro, because that's the aggro system was like, that was half the fight in vanilla WoW and raiding.
Right.
Knowing how much you can like that fine line of DPSing before you pulled aggro, and then the bosses, you know, mechanics are decently easy to like today where the bosses have like a disgusting amount of mechanics, but tanking is so much like you hold aggro. That's it. You just you can't pull aggro off a tank anymore. Like they're kind of going in that direction where they make the game easier, but like the boss fight's more complicated, which is a big issue in WoW now. People are like kind of being dissatisfied.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But just, I mean, I'm not saying that this changes like that.
Yeah. It's food for thought, right?
Yeah. Something to look at the next quality of life
month
that comes out. And oddly enough, 90% of them are like straight buffs and nerfs. We'll go into that one day. One day on a shorter episode. But anyways, so for the automated updates that came in a bit ago, they've been added to the game. So the auto enchant jewelry is now in. Each step for creating serum 207s, filling watering cans, and splitting coconuts with hammers. Get that cocoa milk.
Cool.
Yep. They added the magic skill guide icons, so that's pretty cool.
All right.
Fossil and ancient wyverns now drop volcanic ash. Volcanic ash, now you gain more the higher your mining level is. So 1 at 22 and 6 at 97.
Okay.
It is now possible to fill Grycolar's can using regular water sources instead of having to do teeth farming. Like, what?
It's a useless reward.
I wonder, can you use this in raids? It's a water source, and they did add the change. Like, you can now humidify those lines of fire.
That would be cool.
Heads up, you have to run to the fire, by the way. I was doing a raid with someone, like, I got humidifies, don't bring watering strikes. And they got trapped in the fire. I'm like, I got you. My dude just starts like running across the room and cast humidify. My buddy takes like 60 damage. And I'm just like, oh,
Lesson learned.
It's not ranged. That's weird. Yeah, that, I don't know who would ever want to have to always go back to do teeth farming.
Nobody wants to.
I spent a day getting that farmer's outfit, which technically isn't even efficient. I wanted it, save money, but it also looks cool as hell.
Oh yeah. That's why I got it.
Yeah, it looks dope, but it's the worst mini game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's the worst.
The worst part about it is that you're committed once you go in there to 15-minute run or whatever it is.
Focus.
Yeah, focus, because you plant your trees or your little fruits.
Those big pineapples.
Yeah.
Whatever they are.
And you get 1 point per harvest.
And you need
75 points before you can actually
get a point.
Get teeth points.
Yeah.
So you have to do 3 runs of the fruit, and then the 4th run you keep the actual points. The reason that's annoying is because if you disconnect and you're halfway through it, you gotta start all over again.
You can literally lose 10 minutes of progress for no reason. You just DC and you're like, oh, wow.
And you're probably thinking, well, once I get in there, do my first 3 runs, I'll stay in there the whole time to get all the points. No, because you only get 100 seeds and you have to go out and come back in. So 75% of the time, you're not getting actual points. You are getting experience, but
real quality of life, just give me a shit ton of seeds. Yeah. Okay, teeth farming doesn't take 8 hours to get the full farming outfit now. But yeah. Anywho, Rings of Forging are now available to free-to-play players. They can be bought from other players, and alternatively, you can give Murky Matt in the Grand Exchange 250 GP for every ruby ring you'd like to enchant. I don't know what that does to the free-to-play community, if that makes mining iron ore more profitable. It's just smelt Iron Men, free to play Iron Men.
Yeah.
Or Iron Men that don't want to level up magic yet for some reason, that have a lot of rubies for some reason.
Yeah, but like I said, you can't enchant those. They probably can't enchant them free to play, so you have to pay for them.
But even pay to play,
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Cool, I guess, because I know in free to play the Ogres has dropped a lot of ruby gems.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and uncut rubies, but I don't know. Anyways, so Game Blast 2019, what is this? Well, it takes place February 22nd and 24th.
It's already happened.
Yep. So what is it? What was it, I should say? Streamers from both Old School and RuneScape. So that one streamer that OS Golden Glory.
Oh, right.
Fun fact, I have a really weird conspiracy we can jump into at one point. I don't want to go into it now.
Save it for the community chatter, because there's a few things I want to play that music for.
Okay. I don't want to make this episode too long with my rants. I could have made a really bad joke, but never mind. Yeah, anyway, sorry. So streamers from both Old School and RuneScape are joining forces to raise money for the incredible charity Special Effect.
Sick.
We're sure you all know what wonderful work Special Effect does, but you can read more here. It allows you to, with certain weapons, you can, from this pool of your special effect, you can use a cool special attack onto other monsters and players within the community.
Sick.
Not really. What is special effect?
It's a charity that basically helps develop technology for people who are physically disabled to allow them to do certain things. So whether it's a specific type of joystick that they can use. I know what's the name of it? Xbox came out with this controller.
Yeah, the adaptive one?
Yeah, the adaptable controller, which is apparently a very well-designed thing for people who have
a bunch of different disabilities.
Yeah, it's something where you don't have full control of your hands, right?
Yeah, any type of thing where you don't have hand mobility.
Yeah. But it allows them to play pretty well. I was watching videos of people testing it out, and yeah, so
pretty revolutionary.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And there are some streamers that have handicaps that that play. It's gonna sound like I'm making a joke, but I'm not. But there's this one guy who plays with that breathing thing.
I was about to say that. And that's the one
and
I'm aware of.
I'd watch him PK and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That one, I should do some research on how that thing actually works, because I'm kind of curious now.
He would left click by exhaling and right click by inhaling.
But how do you move the
He
mouse
like
around?
with his lips. It's like this thing that goes to his mouth, and he would like move his mouth around, and it like tracks, and like he wasn't Triburn, he was just in Edgeville.
Yeah.
But like he was like fighting people, getting killed, but like getting kills, like he'd be someone who just like G-mauls me out of my obby mauler. I'm just like, fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I have seen, maybe it's the same streamer, but I've seen a similar streamer complete the Inferno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. What's his name?
I don't remember.
It's like something Scape, but it's like a pun on his disability.
Yeah. I'm not about to just start guessing, so.
Because there's a line between guessing and then making jokes.
Yeah.
But anyways, so it's pretty cool that like Jagex is like doing this.
Could you imagine doing the Inferno, having to use like your breathing?
Imagine having to use your hands. Like I can't even do that.
Yeah, but your breathing is already like so stunted from the Inferno.
Oh,
itself,
true.
so like,
Your heart rate is like linked to your left click. Just
fuck, this is not good. So it's pretty cool.
yeah, and it's pretty like it's good timing too with the Microsoft Adaptive Controller.
Yeah.
Because that like was like it's a really big deal for some people.
Oh yeah.
And like stuff that Special Effect can even like come out with.
That's the thing. Like accessibility is such a big thing when it comes to, like, I guess, the tech world.
Yeah, I mean, even if you like completely go down just having mobile RuneScape, look at our player numbers jump, right?
What do you mean?
Like accessibility in general, like the concept, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. And let's say with Microsoft,
Yeah.
if they're the only console that has this type of technology, you cornered a market there, right?
Yeah.
People are going to come to that. So yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, especially like outside of playing games and stuff, though, but like in the workplace.
Yeah.
The ability to like work in an office area, which is like ideal for someone with a disability generally.
Yeah.
Like
it's pretty intense. Like, just an example that I can point out. So my girlfriend works as a front end developer for this company, and she had the project of making the site more accessible to people with different disabilities. So she was telling me all these different things when it comes down to just like certain colors or the sizes of clickable objects, or there's a bunch of them on how you can make it so someone could actually purchase from the website that she works for.
Wait, is she the one involved with, I'm going to click this link, ad pops up and bumps the page down, and I miss the fucking link?
She would be involved with sort of that sort of stuff.
I just had a moment where I almost broke my phone once because I kept trying to click something with my phone.
God, it's so
and I
annoying.
literally like sat there for like 20 seconds. Like I was like living with my roommates. We were just like chilling, watching a movie. I'm just like, I like sat there, like counted because it kept happening, waited 20 seconds. And as my finger went, ad popped up, shoved it, clicked the ad. And I just started like, fuck! And like, Deegan, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I want to click something on this website. Like, I literally can't.
Some of them are so annoying. So for my schooling, I'm in college right now for a radio broadcasting course. Every Wednesday we do a little radio show. I'm with a group of people, and every week we kind of switch roles. Anyways, I was hosting one of the weeks, and we have to talk about things relevant to the audience, and they create one specific person that you're supposed to pretend you're talking to. This person's name was Sarah. She was like in her mid-30s. She had 2 young kids. She was a middle class.
Very aggressive with retail workers. I'm familiar with this person.
Yeah, not even kidding, probably.
Yeah.
She owns an SUV.
Oh, yeah.
She is into pop music. She doesn't know what's going on with, what's her name? One of the popular pop singers right now.
Ariana Grande.
Yes.
I just totally threw that out. Nice.
That's it. So she doesn't know much about Ariana Grande, but she wants to know more. So anyways, anything you're talking about, you have to think that you're talking to this person. Would they care? Which meant when I was hosting, I was browsing a lot of Cosmo, the female magazine, now website. So when I go into an article, I'd have 3 pop-ups that's like, it would say like, subscribe to our website so you can get notifications on your actual desktop about when the new article's posted.
Yeah.
And a bunch of things like that would pop up though, and it was so annoying that I hated navigating through it.
10 ways to taser your man's anus, and then brackets, he loves this.
Yeah, they have stuff. It's so stupid, but it was annoying because I get a pop-up saying, do you want to subscribe to the thing? And it would be like one that was just like, let's do it. And then the other one was like, I'm lame. So which means I had to actually read the thing to be like, which option I'm going to select.
And they're probably like switched.
Yeah.
Or like one's super tiny. They actually both like, let's do it. I'm down. And you're like, what? And there's like a tiny X in the corner that's like the same color as
There's
whole
3 X's. 2 of them are viruses.
Yeah.
Christ. Am I on a torrent site? What
2
is
of them
this?
were actually check marks. They're just crossed. So they're like they're double OKs.
Double yes. Okay, now you're going to get 2 notifications every time.
What show is it where it's like press like 1 for yes and 2 for no, and then the person press like the button twice and like yes.
Oh, that's Simpsons.
Yeah.
No, not Simpsons. That was South Park.
So wasn't it for South Park or like Futurama?
Yeah, the one where they ended up like setting a teacher on fire in kindergarten.
Oh, okay.
And she's like in this thing, and it was like Cartman and the other guy, and it was like, was it this dude or was it Cartman? And it was like, was it this dude? Beep, beep. Yes. And it was 2 beeps for no.
Yeah.
You know what episode I'm talking about. I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm describing it right now. Let's get back into the RuneScape talk.
Yeah, so anyways, going back at it, so you can donate to this charity, because we're still on that. It's the United Commodities of RuneScape Game Blast 2019. They have a link, and they also have the RuneScape Game Blast eBay auction.
I checked. There's a bunch of necklaces of different potions. That's all that's up right now.
You can also sign up to this thing and raise money. Hell, you could probably real world trade and then donate it and then get banned and be like, Jagex, I was donating. And they'd be like, all right.
Trying to do a good thing here.
Yeah. In other news, PvP rotations. So, a lot of people aren't going to be using those worlds. People get really upset when it's not on their turf. They don't like that ping.
Yep.
Prayer protection icon in PvP worlds have been reverted to its previous icon, where it's like colored out and X'd out or whatever, right? Where they have like the thing. I don't know. Or maybe that's the high risk world, whatever. They changed how like the altars in the achievement gallery. They added the ferocious gloves, the attack and defense skill guides. Pretty much it.
Yeah, these are all the boring parts.
The brimstone chest will now give loot broadcast.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey everyone, I got rune essence.
Sick.
But actually, be annoying for someone. Like I had like a bunch of keys and I just like spam clicked it. And I was just like sitting there like opening them up nonstop. And some dude ran by and was like, just like stopped and like, what are you doing? Using all my keys? Oh, good shit, man. Like walks away. Now it's like, Deegan, receive this and this and this and this and this. You know what I mean?
This guy's bugged the game out.
Yeah. That's pretty much it though. The mulch infiltrator no longer interferes with players trying to use magical attacks or chinchampas on the lizardman shamans outside of mulch.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, actually, remember that how was it last episode or 2 episodes ago when we were talking about the Swampletics fishing net that got added?
Might have been an episode ago.
And then I threw in a little. Remember how they removed that one tree by the crafting guild, the yew tree?
Yeah.
They actually put that back.
What?
Yeah. So it's back.
Are you sure it's been put back, or is it just never gone in the first place?
It was gone.
Weird.
They removed a bunch of them all around Melzar's lair.
All right.
Melzar's maze, for Dragon Slayer 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch that they removed for no reason. Well, that we know of, but they put them back. That's it for that stuff.
But it ain't over yet.
Yep, we got Crack the Clue to talk about, to brute force, and treasure trails.
Yeah, if you don't know what Crack the Clue is, 2016 they released the first one, so they do this through Twitter and I guess the dev blogs a bit. But they release like some random clue that you don't really know what it means and you have to decipher it. And it'll end up bringing you to a spot. Well, ideally it would bring you to a spot that you can dig and you get a piece of reward. Yeah, the first Crack the Clue took over a year?
Yep.
Over a year to complete. Super hard. And yeah, as Deegan just said, the way they finished it was they brute forced it by just, a bunch of people just going out digging?
It was actually, so we talked about this when it happened in the controversy, and I like how they left it out. But they said after like 12 months of theorizing, searching, inspecting pixels, that's a funny way of like, Well, I guess you had to inspect some stuff, but the last piece wasn't being found for a long time. They weren't giving any hints.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, they congratulate Pikachu Yip, went on the Crack the Clue subreddit, took everyone's theorizing and went, okay, let me just draw a box in this area, and this area, and this area. I'm going to dig in just every square. And that's how, like, the Helm of Raidwald, was found. All the other ones people actually figured out, and then this one guy was like, I'm not going to contribute anything to this community, because there was, like, a good community, like, talking about it all the time on their subreddit. Yeah. It was really cool to, like, read. He doesn't contribute anything, and he's, like, literally takes all the glory, like, in this, like, thing, like, congratulations, Pikachu Yip, and it's like...
Yeah, at the same time...
You just dug. Someone was actually right, they just got the math wrong. That's what it turned out, it was, like, the wrong rock, and, like... Or the wrong spot, and the guy was like, just gonna dig around here, and there it is.
It's still a cool way for it to finish. Well, it's 12 months, you know what, I'll give it to him. It's like, I don't know, I love that shit, like, where people spend all this time trying to figure out, what does it mean, right?
Yeah.
Get your cork board out, and you have all your
Pepe Sylvia.
What show is that?
It's Always Sunny. Yeah, with all the strings going everywhere.
So yeah, it's pretty cool, and they're bringing it back this year. Yeah, the first clue they released has a bunch of different numbers, and then it has like a map with an outline of, looks like a hill maybe, with an X at the bottom of it, and then it says, I found a round number to eat from. Yeah, and I believe they have figured out where this was. I saw Wooks was trying to figure it out, and he went into the game code or something. He went into something where there's a bunch of different numbers, and he found the spot where these numbers actually are. Something like that.
It's not fun.
Well, it's one part of the clue. We got more to go through.
Oh, I thought like, and Remington next to POH. You know what I mean?
Like the full set.
Well, because I only say that, but there is a video released by Theatrics where it's using the like the hidden plugins of Rune Light, like one of those like type things.
I know Goody.
Maybe it was Goody that
did the developer tool.
Yeah. And one of them is that you can see the ID numbers of the ground tiles.
Right. Yep.
And then for everyone who watches Settled uses that to figure out how to do the bog temple track or thing.
Yep.
And it will just show you which one's the right one. So it turns like a minute long thing into something that's 10 seconds. So I thought you were going to say he just popped that open and then just ran around. It was like, this is a weird number.
No, I'm not smart enough to know, but it was something where I want to say he was like inspecting the code of the game or something. Because the thing just had like a layer of numbers and shit. Obviously it's not the code, but it looked like Matrix, you know, all that. It had all these different things, and he found the spot where these were supposed to be. I don't really know, but a little fun fact though, I was reading, apparently the dev tools got pulled from RuneLight, so you can't access it that easily now because of the Settled video.
Good.
Huh.
That shouldn't just be available for people to use. Like what? They're called developer tools, not
plugins.
Not plugins. Yeah.
Anyways, back to the Crack the Clue. Have you seen what the reward looks like?
I have no idea what it looks like. What is it?
It looks actually really fucking sick.
Is it the armor that was supposed to be in Theater Blood they took away?
No.
Next. Not interested. What does it look like? Wait. Is it a bunch of clue scrolls just like taped to someone's body? Is it like the Easter egg event but recolored?
Pretty close. I guess because people can just get into the actual, source files?
Yeah.
But they can figure out what armors are actually in the game, and they figured out that this picture that we're going to try to describe, I don't know why we always do this, but it looks pretty cool. It's like basically like a black armor trimmed, but it's got like a nice plum on the helmet with a cool cape. It reminds me of like
RuneScape 3.
It reminds me of like Imperial looking armor. Like I'd expect some like dictator
like a
shit.
Black Knight commander or like something like that, like a high-end Legion in the Black Knights.
Yeah, something like that, or like some dictator makes all of his military men look like that just to look more powerful, right?
Yeah.
It looks cool though.
Yeah, you can also get a raven on the arm. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that, yeah.
So, first of all, it does look sick, but it does kind of look RuneScape 3-y. The raven looks like badass, but here's my thing. I would have loved for this to be like armor that you would wear.
Yeah.
And like skill in and like use. I don't want it to be like fashion skate because like my favorite thing about fashion skate is when you just get assorted pieces of armor and you just make something look sick, right? Like my little Dark Souls fashion skate, I think looks dope. But like it's just like assorted like barrel gloves, Aram's hood, like random like stuff that like it just like looks cool as hell. Or like my doctor's outfit that I use. But like when it's just like here's one set that you could wear. Like the Fremenic-esque Raidwald Crack the Clue 1 outfit, which you can still get, but it looks super cool too, and I still kinda have that feeling like, man, that would have been really cool if like there was a reason to wear this outside of Winter Todd Hardcore Iron Man.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I see that, I'm like, that looks awesome. I don't know. I kind of wish it had some sort of purpose.
Yeah, like,
I don't know.
That Raven could have been a really cool, like, ranged offhand. That could have had some really weird niche.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Where, like, even give it an assembler's effect.
Yeah, that's
that
interesting.
Retrieved arrows, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, they could
Retrieves
have
other people's arrows.
Yeah. But, like, they just, like, added to this, which is cool, I guess, but, man, I want, like,
You want to be rocking it, Theater of Blood?
I don't, like, yeah, like, I want it, like,
or Slayer or something, yeah.
Like, that could have been added to, like, Raids 3. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But even like the Jester's outfit type of thing where you get it through a quest.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I don't know, something, whatever. It's cool as hell, though.
Yep.
It's so cool that I'm kind of salty it's from this. But, yeah, it just kind of looked like RuneScape 3. That's my only gripe. So, with that being said, they also talk about the Treasure Trails expansion. So, back in July 2016, so we talked about this possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Did we? But were we around 2016? July?
Yes.
Or did we come out shortly after?
Wait, that was September.
Okay. So, before our time, but back in July 2016, we released a Treasure Trail expansion that included the Master Clues, new types of challenges, and new rewards. And this year we want to help you in shaping a new expansion for Treasure Trails. We welcome all feedback, design ideas, and suggestions. So, player design content, we want this expansion to be about your feedback, suggestions, and your design. We want you to do this content for us, Gentle Tractor.
We're calling you out.
Which I think he actually did release a big write-up on what they could do.
Probably.
Which is, I think it was decent, but yeah. So for full transparency, everything listed below are just ideas that we have come up with, and we'd really like to incorporate player design content as much as possible. You can oldschoolcommunity@jagex.com. That's where you can send it. Attachment as a JPEG, including your display name of your in-game name. And, use the subject line Treasure Trail expansion. Players who the designs we use for rewards, puzzles, and challenges will have their name displayed forever commemorated on the notice board in Watson's house.
Sweet.
So not as nice as Big Red Japan, but still pretty nice.
Still something.
Yep.
Or Rune Knight Miner from the Motherlode Mining.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's weird because that was his actual name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for their first suggestion or whatever would be new clue tier, the beginner clues for free to play.
Cool. So
1 to 3 steps for free to play, and obviously as pay to play, you could do this too. It's not only free to play, but they would like to add a clue scroll tutor and teach free to play players about how it works. Along with the tutor, at the end of X marks the spot, players will be given an additional reward of a beginner clue scroll and be directed to the tutor to learn more about it. People who've already completed the quest will still be able to claim the clue. Please note that easy, medium, hard, and elites will remain members only. New clue puzzles. So following the success on some of our bigger updates, they want to add more slider puzzles that RuneLite will do for you. New images. and a new puzzle type that could be obtained on Hard Elite and Masters. They're open for ideas. You know what I was thinking? You know brain teasers?
Yeah.
Where it's like, get this rope to this part, or you get this metal piece, like have something like that.
I love those things.
I hate them.
I think I have one somewhere.
I get really stressed out when I can't do it and my back hurts. I don't know why. But re-rolling clue steps. This is another thing they suggested. Some clues require levels that a player hasn't reached or items that they cannot afford. As an alternative, if a player were to do a specific number of clues, they would unlock a re-roll ability for that clue scroll tier. And you get one re-roll for an easy... For example, should a player complete a set number of easies, they'd get one re-roll for a step on easies, and this re-roll would just generate a new step in place of its current step. But there is no guarantee that the new step would be easier. I don't like that.
Yeah, well, we'll go through them and then we'll revisit it with our opinions.
So stackable clue scrolls and reward caskets. Exactly how they sound. You could stack clue scrolls. So you have like 20 hards, 20 hard caskets. I like how they use the number 73. Keep memeing Jagex.
It's funny.
Yeah. Ha ha ha. Expansion to existing tiers. So they have some ideas like Cape of Skulls, Pirate Outfit, Dragon Hunter Crossbow Recolors, Gilded Dragon Set, Dragon Hide Set, Sandwich Lady Outfit,
nice.
Gnome Scarf Recolors, Heraldic Plate Bodies, Runes Cape, it's like a fire rune, water rune cape.
Okay.
Gilded Battle-Axe, a Beekeeper Outfit, a Double Sai or Say, it's like the Ninja Turtles, is it Raphael?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the pokey things. Spiked Manacles, it's a footwear slot. Are those like,
Oh, it's like the chains that go around your feet.
Oh, okay. Blessed Hide Shields, Wieldable Balloon Animal, Wolf Mask and Cloak, and Staff of Bob the Cat.
Cool. Sounds good.
This one's my favorite, though. A Treasure Trails Mimic Boss. Additionally, we can add a role to the Treasure Trails in which your casket has a chance of becoming a mimic that you must defeat in order to receive your reward. This would only be found on Elites and Masters, and it will give you a warning before proceeding to fight it. And upon defeating the mimic, you'll be greatly rewarded. We'd love to. So I'm assuming
maybe like double the loot.
Yeah, 1.5. Maybe even just fix the or like increase the chances on certain drop tables. Kind of like how Rev Cave Scald versus Unscald works.
Yeah,
where they just take some items off the table, like supersets, super potions.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. More third age. And then clue scroll graphic changes. They want to change the way they look in your inventory and bank.
So, jumping back up, what do you think of the beginner clue scroll tier?
I like it.
Play? Yeah?
Yeah. As long as the rewards are like, at best, an Addy piece.
I don't even think that, because easies give you black.
Okay.
So it'd probably be like bronze, steel, something like that, right?
Yeah, I don't do clues at all. Thank God you do.
I'm sure there's some uniques they would throw in there, but I do like the idea. Like, whenever free to play gets like an update, I'm usually more on board with it because it's like, yeah, cool, give them some more love. Let's get some new members.
Yeah,
eventually. But yeah, beginner clue scroll sounds pretty cool. I mean, I'm not gonna do them, but
what do they come up with a reward though?
Yeah. If you do X amount, then I don't know.
Hopefully you don't need to give them to what's-his-face, Watson, to get a Masters.
Imagine. Shit.
That'd be annoying.
That would suck. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Rerolling clue steps.
Silly.
Yeah, I don't really like the idea of that as well. Mainly because when I first started playing, I love doing clue scrolls. So that's what I would do. Whenever I got a clue scroll, I would go complete it. And that's how I got most of my questing done.
Yep.
I get a clue scroll and I need to do the quest. I'll go do it, even if I don't want to.
Even levels and stuff?
Yep, levels too. So I don't like the... Because I would do it. I'm not just going to not re-roll it.
Yep.
So... But at the same time, I don't want the option. I like being kind of cornered into doing some content that I wouldn't normally do. Stackable clue scrolls and reward caskets.
Silly.
The caskets I'm not as opposed to.
Yeah.
I like the idea of, like you did with the keys for Konar. You collect them, do them a bunch at once.
Yeah.
But I don't like having a bank of clue scrolls because, like, you don't like to do your clue scrolls as it is, right?
Yeah.
But I like to do them. I'll get one, and it's like a break from my Slayer task. I'm going to go do this elite clue scroll because I know that I can't get another elite clue scroll until I complete it. So I'm like, I might as well go do it now and get nothing, but whatever. It's part of the fun. Now, I saw someone do this right up because I believe in RuneScape 3 they have it stackable. But what it causes people to do is just they collect so many of them, and instead of it being a break, it becomes another chore.
Oh my god, yeah.
So now you have like 20 clue scrolls to do, and it's not as much fun.
Yeah. Instead of like, oh, cool, it's like, fuck. I have 532 medium clues. I'm not doing these.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing that would be nice is like when you're like wood cutting or like you're skilling and you get like that clue scroll.
Yep.
You're like, cool. But for me, I like, okay, no more mediums can drop while I'm wood cutting. No more easies.
Yeah.
Now no more hards. Just need an elite baby. And let me turn on a master clue. I'll go do that.
Yeah, and like I like how it is now where you can technically bank 3 master clues.
Yep.
So you do this by you turn your clue scrolls into Watson. He'll give you a master clue scroll, but he doesn't give it to you right away. What you can do instead is give him one of each tier, and he can hold on to all of them before giving you a master clue. Let's say you already have one in your bank, so now you have Watson holding on to your other master clue, then you have a master clue in your bank, and you can still obtain one of every tier again. So you collect all 4, easy, medium, hard, and elite. You keep those in your bank, and now you could technically trade those in for another master clue. So you got 3 banked.
Yeah, you could hold on to a master clue. You can have Watson, quote unquote, hold on to a master clue for you. But yeah, you can talk to him and get one afterwards. You can have the rest of the tiers banked, but you can also have a master clue casket.
Yeah.
So you could.
That's true.
You just crank them all off. But yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't even think about it turning it into a chore, because I find one's a chore, and I'm like, I keep it in my bank so they don't drop.
Yeah.
That's actually why I have them. Like,
yeah, you'd be getting them.
Yeah.
And then I guess the last one is the Mimic Boss.
Which I think is sick.
Yeah, that would be cool. And that's like a very old school RPG thing. It's not unique to anything. It comes from I believe it comes from D&D.
Probably, yeah.
I could be wrong, which heavily influenced this game. The only thing is I would kind of not want the warning. I like the idea of having to gear up every time you open up a chest, because you don't know if it's going to be a Mimic or not.
What if it kills you, then no loot?
I guess so, right? You'd lose everything.
What if it just like ate your gear?
Imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the warning just because like convenience. I don't have to like go to the bank and gear up. I guess you could just open and safe spot it. Let's have some ranged attacks. But I
hope it's a hard fight too.
Yeah, I would like it if it was like, hey, it's gonna teleport you to an instance area. Are you okay with this? Sure. And you go to like good example like Diablo or something, where you go to Greed's lair. I guess Diablo 3 would be like the treasure portal to like, I don't know, like a room, or like Merville.
No idea.
PoE. Where there's like a room with like a ton of gold and treasure everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just kill the dude in like an area where it's like there's a shit ton of gold and like treasure, I guess. Is my best description, like a treasure room.
Yeah.
And that'd be really neat. And you get to fight him in there, and it's like a whole like boss-esque fight where it's instead of just fighting a hard monster, it's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I just love games with mimics. I love the idea of opening up a chest in Dark Souls and I die.
Yeah, it's keeps you guessing.
Yeah, pretty neat stuff. And then Song of the Elves pull blog.
God, this is a long episode.
Yeah, so why I was saying maybe I'll hold on to that conspiracy later for a slow day.
We'll see, but
I mean, there's literally one line of lore. Do you want to do it? It's a quote.
You think you're the hero of this story, but you're not. Lord Isleworth. Should have done it the Dan Carlin way, where he's just talking like this, and then he goes, quote, blah, 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 and he just yells into the mic, and you're like, Jesus.
Maybe we'll start doing that. But yeah, so big things have small beginnings. No, they have a little intro to this, but yeah. Big things have small beginnings. 16 years ago, the Plague City was added to RuneScape. This quest marked the beginning of a fabled elf quest series, the oldest and longest quest series in the game. From Elven Rebellions to Dark Lords, the series has told a thrilling story with many twists and turns. Now, after all these years, it's finally time for the story to come to its conclusion with Old School RuneScape's new Grandmaster quest, Song of the Elves.
Cool.
So you'll team up with a range of characters and finally put an end to the schemes of Lord Iworth and King Lathas. It'll be pretty hard. So, first poll question. Should it be added to RuneScape?
Wait, we've done this already. Oh, they just have a change list at the top.
Oh, do they? The poll for the below question will be live tomorrow on the 26th and close on Friday. 26th of February, closed on March 1st.
So instead of going through all the polls, because we've already done that, not much has changed, just a few of them have been removed.
Yeah, and I guess now the polls are going live for these?
Yeah, they're now going live, so instead we'll just go through what they changed from the last time we talked about it, which a couple weeks ago.
So the question offering an extra herb patch has been removed.
Yeah, so that was one of the complaints, right?
Yeah.
Too many herbs.
A chest restoring items outside the gauntlet was added.
Okay, so I'm guessing it's similar to...
Easy bank, though, right?
Yeah, okay.
The set effect for crystal armor was buffed and applied to individual pieces.
Alright, so the set effect is... You get a 10% boost to damage and a 20% boost to accuracy when using any crystal weaponry. If you have just random pieces of the set, you get a partial of the percentage. Oh, they should have just said this first. It's a 2% damage boost and a 4% accuracy boost for each set, or for each piece of the armor.
And then there's an 8% on top when you have the full thing.
Oh, okay, there it
is.
They like to work backwards when they're explaining these things.
Yeah, I mean, look at EOC, and then they work backwards old school, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They clarified PvP, so a PvP death will cause the crystal armor to revert to its seats, which would then be dropped for the killer. All shards would be lost. The armor would be untradeable, and can only be made in Priptonas, so you need to have the quest done to equip it.
Cool.
Unless there's like an exploit. They clarify how charges work. So each crystal shard will provide 100 charges, up to 5,000 on the armor piece. And each freshly piece of armor will start with 2,500 or 2,500. Why am I saying it like that? 2,500. Jesus. Too much talking.
It did say the tools, so the harpoon, pickaxe, and hatchet are all going to be pulled separately instead of all together.
Mm-hmm. They added an image of the gate.
Yeah, so right now, if you look, it's just like a crystal glass wall, but they're opting to change it to a more nature look.
Glass.
It's like, yeah.
Glass and wood.
Glass and wood, yeah. Still looks good.
Yeah, it looks nice and elvish. Well, like a high class elf type of a thing. Still very Woodslandsy. They're not fully magical yet. They're like in that transition phase, you know?
They went from being a high elf to a wood elf.
Or like they're in transition from a wood elf to being a high elf.
Well, I'd say before they're more of a high elf with the crystal glass walls. Whereas wood elf, and it's more...
We're pretty much saying the same thing with two different ways. Because I was going to say, it's like they have trees as a gate, and then they like add glass. But yeah, they're like middle ground.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're in transition somewhere. They reword some things because Jagex should be doing that all the time because they always word things horribly. And then they have added some things for consideration. So, like feedback and whatnot. So, they'd still like to move crystal-related imbues away from Nightmare Zone into Priptonas to be more thematic. And they're open to adding a crystal sword or a similar one-handed melee to the set. Similarly, like this, they were considering a staff. This could be featured in a poll later on. A crystal quiver or a similar item was suggested to buff the bow, and it could be added. And then, yeah, they want to add a new patch instead of an herb patch, a crystal tree, which that could be pulled later on. And the gauntlet is a solo experience. So their main reason is that Theater of Blood was added, so it like added to not be a solo experience.
Mm-hmm.
Chambers of Xeric was added, which I actually want to like ask like Ash and some mods about. I want to pick their brains about if they ever consider like Chambers of Xeric, like Olm fight has been broken down to such a weird point where like there's so many weird things you could do to manipulate how Olm attacks.
Mm-hmm.
If that was intended. Because if you just fight him straight up and as a solo, you will die once.
Yeah.
But you can like do like a weird method where you don't die. And I guess the gauntlet would pretty much be like, I think they want to treat it as like a solo raid. They want to have it as like a raid concept, but for solo players.
Interesting.
I don't know who they're going to gear it towards, if it's for everyone and have everything scale completely.
I know it's a way for them to satisfy some people's wants for dungeoneering from RuneScape 3 into old school RuneScape.
See, that's what the Chambers of Xeric's was.
So in their actually their birthday stream, they were talking about how Chambers of Xeric kind of does in a little bit of a way, and they want the gauntlet to kind of be more dungeoneering-esque.
Okay, so something I'm going to hate.
Yeah, seems all pretty interesting. The armors, I kind of wish that the set bonus did something to the shield. The shield's kind of just like...
Shield's good.
It's decent, but having the full set of crystal armor, you're not getting a buff to the shield, though. But you are getting a buff to the bow and the halberd.
Yeah. I think that's why they talk about, like, a sword.
Yeah. I do love the idea with this armor, though, that let's say you're going to go kill a boss where you would bring the halberd. Maybe you're going to bring this extra set of gear to switch into the spec.
Yeah,
That's
or
cool.
Depending on which boss, with all that sweet range defense you get.
Yeah, maybe the bow's going to be coming back.
Like, there are people, like, that kill, Rex and... Is it Supreme? You can sit there and safe spot Rex, the Dagonoth Rex, with Mage, and then you crystal bow, is it Supreme the Major? I forget which one it is. But then you can crystal bow the other one, and you can kind of just like chill and like...
Get them both done?
Yeah, just ignore the Ranger guy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm excited to see this piece of content. You know, it looks pretty dope.
Yeah. I want them to clarify what is that agility icon. Do I start training agility or do I just wait for this update to come out?
Please be AFK. Please be AFK.
If it's rooftop, then I'm going to wait. And if it's not, then I'm going to do it.
I hope it's just a treadmill. You just stand on it and running. Get some of that juicy XP.
Yeah, or do they just add Silverhawk boots to the game like RS3?
Oh, do it.
Where you spend a bunch of money and you just passively get agility experience as you play the game.
That's the dream right there.
That would make me probably quit. That's it for news.
But we ain't done there yet. So let's go over to what we got going on with the community. With the birthday stream that I keep talking about, they also did a data stream at the end of it where they've talked about some things, and I made some notes here about some things that would be fun to talk about. You hear that? We're going old school with paper, pen and paper. All right, so the rarest pets, top 5 rarest pets. You want to take a guess?
Rarest is Zuck.
Yep, that's right. 194 are out there.
And then second rarest is Bloodhound.
Ooh, close. Bloodhound is third.
Okay. Hydra.
Ooh, nope. Not even on the list.
Olm? Verzik is number 2.
I'll just give it. Penance Queen from Barbarian Assault. 826 are out there. Third is Bloodhound with 1,171 existing. Fourth,
Verzik.
Vedion.
That makes sense.
1,393, and then it's Lady Verzik, Lil Zik, at 1,783.
Dude, Vedion's... I have 3 kill count. Okay, I've been playing this game. I was there when Vedion came into the game. I have 3 kill count at a Slayer task. I was like, I'll do 3. And I died like 20 times to PKers, and it was awful. And I was like, never kill this guy again. Years later... Haven't killed him since. He's awful.
Yeah, kind of sucks. So the top 5 common pets.
Heron?
Yeah, that was the most common with 51,000 existing. The second most common?
Rocky.
Close. It's the beaver, the woodcutting pet at
I was
47,000.
gonna guess that. Shit.
Third, it's a PVM monster. This one's easy.
Oh, Kraken. Zalra. Oh, Kraken.
Kraken, yeah.
Okay.
45.5 thousand. And then it's the golem, the rock golem from mining, 40,000. 40. God, why did I write it this way? 40.5 thousand. Yeah, whatever. And then
Wait, that's more people mine in this game?
I guess so. And last is the raccoon from thieving at 39,000.
Mm-hmm.
Some interesting notes. So I'm generalizing here, so I'm not going to go through every pet. But for the most part, every pet, the amount from last year to this year, doubled.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Player base exploded.
Yeah.
And player retention exploded.
Now, what's interesting is the raccoon from thieving, it tripled. Probably because of Artie Nights. The change, people were spam clicking.
Especially when it was like, we're changing Artie Nights, and everyone was just like,
Get it done, get it done.
Get this over with.
And a cool little note is there's more Theater of Blood pets than there are of the grotesque gargoyle pets.
Makes sense. Theater of Blood is fun. Grotesque Guardians are not.
Yeah. So this year, this is the amount of money that were spent on just insuring the pets, and that's not reclaiming them after they've lost the pet.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know, when you get a pet, you can spend, do you know off the top of your head how much
$1 million?
Is it 1 mil?
Yeah.
You can spend 1 mil on insuring your pet so that when you do die, you don't lose it, but you still need to pay like $500K to reclaim it afterwards. So 184 billion GP was spent on insuring pets this year. Next is bosses and the kill counts along with them. So this is the kill count that's coming from one single account. So for Zalra, somebody has 102,000 kills.
That guy loves to stake.
Yeah. And Vorkath, somebody has 76.5 thousand kills.
Damn.
Let's just say 76,000.
No, I think the 0.5 is a...
Yeah, okay, that's another 500.
Yeah.
So why is that interesting? Vorkath has only been out for a year. It's been out for a year. That means whoever this is averages 200 kills per day.
I can see that. I don't remember the kills per hour, but you can kill him really quickly. And if you're being efficient on killing Vorkath, you can get like a lot of kills, like 8 or 9 per trip.
Yeah.
Over 7 if you're being efficient.
Still quite a bit. And then another note I made here was the giant mole. Someone has 65,000 kills. Don't know why. They do.
Pet. Going for that pet.
That sucks.
Easy money.
And somebody has 17.7 thousand corp kills in their name. Somebody loves that corp.
You think the guy who's killing Mole Pet is probably botted? Or like got Venezuelans to play for him? Like,
maybe.
Even like Vorkath, like, dude, these guys are probably like...
So
there's no way.
They said in the stream that they went and looked into these accounts to make sure they weren't bots.
Dude, imagine being like, we have a guy who's got 150,000 kills at Zalra. IP from Venezuela. Oh, shit.
Damn it. It's a lot of money. And then for the Inferno, somebody has 200 completions. It's the highest amount.
Damn.
200 Inferno capes. And somebody has 15 kill count on Galvik, the boss from Dragon Slayer 2, because you can fight the boss again for fun. So spam kill that so that if you want to be the person they're talking about next year.
That's shitty. They should have said that, because now there's people that are going to be like, I'm going to kill them 20 times a day just so I could be like, I have the money. Like, it's kind of cool that someone enjoyed the boss, like, and it was a casual player that was like, that was fun. Yo, check this out. Check this out, guys. This is the sweet Dragon Slayer 2. You know what I mean? Like, some casual brings his Tinder date over and he's like, yo, you want to see, like, you play AI player RuneScape? Check this out. I use F keys. Look at that. I optimize my right clicks on rapid.
Hey, baby, want to see me kill Galvik?
Yeah, you want to see my Galvik kill count?
Quickest way to a lady's heart.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on from the general bossing and to Hydra specifically. So on its like first week, it had averaged out that it was killed 680,000 times in a single day.
Damn.
Yeah. $32 billion was spent on reclaiming gear, which means someone or people died 320,000 times. Overall, the Hydra's been killed 10.1 million times.
And that's pretty impressive because you have to go out of your way and have 95 Slayer to it's not like Vorkath day one where you just do the quest because it's out and then now everyone's trying to kill Vorkath or Zalra on release. You just like go there and kill them. It's like you need to have like the Slayer level and you need to sit there and spend like points and skip tasks and all that stuff to try out this new boss, which is pretty cool.
Lucky. Yeah, it's crazy. Now moving on to, these are the more random information, but so the dueling arena tax, what everyone's excited to hear about. There's $25 to $30 billion a day leaving the game from the tax. So far since it came out, 4.02 trillion gold has left the game.
Damn.
It is by far the best gold sink in the game. One individual has lost 26.8 billion to the tax.
Sparkmac?
I don't know.
All he does is steak. All he does is steak. He won a 10 bill steak this week. I think it was 10.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there it is. Next is experience gained overall. I'm just going to go into what skills got the most experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, HP is number one.
Yeah.
The most experience gained. Next, and then it goes through all the other combats.
Yeah.
So ranged was next, then attack, strength, defense, magic, somewhere in there. But going over to the next non-combat related skill was cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And then fire making.
Mm-hmm.
And then wood cutting.
Yep. Standard.
Yep. So the lowest experience gains this year was in rune crafting, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was construction.
What?
Construction was the second least trained skill overall.
I guess people just get it to 50 and stop.
Yeah, or 82 and stop. But after that was herblore, and then agility, and then prayer. So they have, when a new person joins the game, in their first 24 hours, what skills were trained the most? And fire making and wood cutting were much higher than everything else.
Bots? Suicide bots?
That, or maybe it's just like you leave Tutorial Island and there's trees everywhere, and you're like, I'm going to cut this, I'm going to burn it, and it's fast experience at lower levels. Plus, it probably counts like new hardcore Iron Men who want to get that winter totting.
Yeah.
So next is how many days to X level, X total level. So for 500 total level, people average 9 days, and that's 9 in-game days.
Of what?
Just playing.
Oh.
So to get 500 total level, people spend about 9 days straight playing.
That sounds like a lot of time.
Yeah, it does.
That's a lot of time.
It is averaging.
I guess.
Yeah, well anyways, for 1,000 total level, it's 20 hours, or 20 days. For 1,500, it's 44.5 days. For 17, for a total level of 1,750, it is 75 days. For 2,000 total level, it's 126.2 days. And for a max level, it's 249 days. So this one's interesting. Next is the average play time per day.
This is going to be weird.
Yeah, for different accounts.
Okay.
So, starting off with normal accounts, they average to playing 3.5 to 4 hours a day.
That's really high.
It's pretty high.
How many MMOs come up with like, you can play this game for 2 hours, please take a break?
Yeah.
It's like 2 or 3 hours you that means the average player, if they were playing another MMO, would have been told to get off the game at some point.
Yeah. It's
and that's an average. That's fucked.
It is. It's pretty intense. Because there's like tons of people who play like an hour a day, whereas there's much more people playing 10 hours a day.
We've talked about we've probably talked about casuals and stuff, like playing, like what is a casual player? Like, yeah, they might play for an hour.
Not even every day.
But technically, if you're playing, would you say 3 hours or 4 hours?
So it's 3.5 to 4 hours a day.
So if you're playing like around 4 hours a day, you're a casual player.
Yeah. Or the average player. Just kind of weirder.
Well, average would be like a casual player, right? If you're going above and beyond, like the average player wouldn't, unless, well, wouldn't you deem that like a casual player?
I mean, if I was talking to someone that like, I do this 4 hours a day, I'd be like, you're not a casual.
But like, you'd be like, yeah, like, I don't know, I'm your average RuneScape player. Well, you wouldn't be talking to them then, but like, cause they wouldn't be outside, I guess.
I don't think the average player is like, if you're just to meet someone, they're not playing 4 hours a day. It's like, there's so many hardcore people playing it that it offsets that.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know if you would consider that an average, like a casual or an average player. Are those interchangeable, or do we just have different definitions for that?
Might be different definitions. I don't think they're necessarily interchangeable. So, not to go off on a tangent real quick, I was listening to a podcast, I can't remember which, but it was a while ago, and when they were designing aircrafts for the pilots, I think it was fighter jets specifically, they took the average build of what pilots were and kind of built the seats and where the buttons and, you know, the distance you would be from sitting in it.
Yeah.
They made it around this average person, but they found that after doing that, plane crashes had gone up. So they went back and looked, and they based it around the average person, like averaging all the pilots, but more people were like uncomfortably sitting because of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It wasn't all optimal for most people.
It's a bell curve, right?
Yeah.
If you just like the line that they drew in that bell curve to like section off to the average person, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
But it's not, doesn't just stop there with that information. So we'll go up next to the Ultimate Ironman. Do you think they play more or less than a normal player?
Less.
So Ultimate Ironman average 2.5 to 3.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
All right. So Hardcore Ironmen. Do you think they do more or less than a normal player?
Less.
It's actually the same, 3.5 to 4 hours a day. Ironmen. Do you think they do more or less than a normal player?
More.
Yeah, they do, with 4 to 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
So, pretty crazy. So
would you say your average RuneScape? That's tripping me out. That's heavy. Like, if you told me the average player played for 2.5 to 3 hours a day, I'd still be like, huh.
I think it depends on, like, the definition of average. If you took every single RuneScape player and then lined them all up.
Well, it's like the bell curve, right? From like, I play 30 minutes to I play 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then you like draw like that curve of like where everyone sits and then you just pick the middle point. Does that mean the average person is like not a casual player?
Yeah, I would say the average person, if you did it that way, but I think majority of the people are casual players. It's just that, like, if you bump into a random person who plays old school RuneScape, they will not fit this average.
But like,
they'll be below average.
I mean, I actually kind of work out the math and where of like how many people would it take to like really offset one person playing 12 hours. I mean, you could easily sit down and do the math, but like we play RuneScape. We don't do math on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, we did earlier, and that's why we're not doing it right now.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully you got that calculator there. Pull it out.
That's weird. That kind of blows my mind.
It does, doesn't it?
Well, you have people like Link's Titan, obviously, but that's like one person. But like,
there's probably a lot more people like that than we're aware of, right?
Well, I'm thinking back now. Like, I had like 4 days off, and I probably played like 8 hours or more each day I had off.
Yeah.
Like, when I have free time, I can really. I've played this game for disgusting amounts of time straight. Like,
well, the crazy thing is, you think of with this data, the statistic, they took on a year basis, right?
With mobile coming out,
they average each player to how much they would play in a year, then average it out to how much they would play in a day, and this is what it equaled.
Oh, true. I
don't even know if mobile is added into here, because in their graph, it was all basically a steady line of the same time played, but then when mobile was released, it all dropped in every category. So I think that it wasn't being collected, like the data, because it does not make sense that mobile comes out and everyone plays less.
Yeah, because I was going to say it would make sense if, like, you are you're commuting to work, you're on the train, you're on the bus, whatever. taking an Uber. So you just pop out mobile, play for 20 minutes, put it down, do a farm run. Mm-hmm. Then you're at work and you're on break. You pull out, do 20 minutes of something, put it down. Coming back home, 20 minutes of doing whatever. You know, there's an hour like right there. Or yeah. And then you come home, do your stuff, go to the bathroom, you know, whatever. Like, mobile can kind of always keep you doing something. Like,
yeah. Also, too, there's probably tons of people at work who are like woodcutting while they're working. They're not really playing it, they're just AFKing. So that's definitely going to factor in too, right?
Yeah, but like...
Still, it is a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. I guess with splashing and NMZ too, there's a lot of AFK stuff, but yeah, whatever.
And so the last little tidbits of information here is for food, shark consumption was 1 bill. Like 1 billion sharks were ate.
In GP or 1 billion sharks were eaten?
I think the actual sharks amount.
Huh.
And then coming in second was lobsters at 600 mil. Monkfish came after that. And then lastly, hardcore Ironman deaths. Really the only information they gave was that 36.7% of hardcore Ironmen die.
In general?
Yeah. So if you make an hardcore Ironman, you know, breaking it down, you have a 36.7% chance of dying.
Well, like, you have 100% because you play long enough, you will die.
Yeah.
But is it... I wish they get more, like... How many people quit?
Yeah, that's the thing. I have a hardcore Ironman. I don't play.
I have 1 or 2.
Yeah. One
was for testing. I have 2 hardcore Ironman that I don't play. One that was actually going to play, and then one that I did to test out Winter Todd stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, most hardcore Ironmen die at Winter Todd. And the second area would be the wilderness. Then the rest would just splotches all over the map. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, pretty interesting stuff there. So I guess let's get into what everyone's just been dying to listen about. YouTuber drama.
Oh, is it that time? Oh, God.
Just get out of the way with. Yeah, I always feel weird talking about a specific content creator and like their drama, because it's like this weird side of the game that's not actually the game itself.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't care, if you don't watch this person, you're not going to be too interested, but if you're
me, I fucking love it.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting drama.
It was hilarious. So, oh my God.
May as well talk about it. So the YouTuber, a friend who at one point was the biggest YouTuber for old school RuneScape. It's been around for a while now. He first got his fame back in RuneScape 3 when he was doing like 10 hours of X boss and he would show the loot. Since then, it's kind of not been what he's doing. He just kind of makes videos of RuneScape stuff, and he's kind of had a fall from grace. He had a hardcore Ironman that died at some point, so he made another hardcore Ironman, died within like a month. Mm-hmm. Made another one, died again within like a month. And videos started coming out slower, and then he came out with a video where he was advertising a gambling company.
Stake.com, we've referenced that meme a lot.
Yes, he advertised a gambling company, which caused Jagex to ban all of his accounts.
Yeah, because they paid him a lot of money, but they also gave him a bill in-game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then he moved to the Netherlands to live with his girlfriend. But this weekend, he had a live stream where if you tuned in, it was just a lot of weird shit happened. But there's a lot of screaming, and crying, I should say.
It wasn't screaming.
Not screaming, but a lot of crying on stream.
From his girlfriend.
And they're all just kind of like throwing in, like, you did this, you did that. Apparently she lied about being on the pill. They had sex. She got pregnant at some point down the road, but she was also cheating on her ex-boyfriend. Anyway, she ended up calling the police.
Well, you're skipping over a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you explain it, because I'm...
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go back a bit. So, within, like, the meta community of a friend, like, in, like, a friend RS in a CC, it was, like, super heavily unmoderated. Like, you look at his videos, people just dropping N-bombs all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a time where why am I getting demonetized all... I'm not even going to try to do his Lithuanian accent. I'll just do my Jordan Peterson. But, because people were dropping F-bombs and he got, like, flagged by YouTube. Anyways, he starts dating this girl. I won't say what her name is or what her RuneScape name is, obviously, but he meets her on RuneScape. He, like, demods everyone in his chat and it's like, a friend CC. and she's the only mod. And then people were like shitting on her, and so she just bans everyone that says anything mean about her in chat.
Mm-hmm.
And she like controlled the CC, and it didn't die because you can only fit 200 people in there, so obviously it's always going to be filled. But like it was pretty much like, yeah, she kind of was like a big thorn in his community side, and so from there. They date for a while. He, like, decides to move to the Netherlands. He's from Lithuania, and, like, the cost of living in Netherlands is, like, way higher. Like, a friend in Lithuania made way more than a doctor. He owned, like, 3 houses. Like, he had, like, a lot of assets in Lithuania, and he's got his family there, right?
Yeah.
She gets him to move. He sells all of his houses at a net loss. 'Cause, you know, investing in real estate, all that good stuff. But he sold them all, lost some money on that, bought a house. It's like his house under his name. He wanted to sure bought this house. They move in, and then like during like this, he goes from playing RuneScape 16 hours a day to 8 because like he understands it's unhealthy. And then but like even if you're playing 8 hours a day, you're still not releasing that many videos. And he kind of talked about that a little bit, that like he just like wasn't really putting in content, and there was a lot of issues with their relationship. And he said he moved in with her, and they'd been living together for like 6-ish months. And he was like, watching his stream, he like talked about some of the things. He was like very self-aware, and like it made me like kind of respect. Oh, I don't respect him for talking about it on stream, but like his thought process of like, he realized that he had some weird tendencies, so he looked into them. Mm-hmm. And then in doing so, he found, like, some things that were wrong with him. So he, like, sat down with his girlfriend, was like, these are some things that I've kind of realized I do that are wrong, and they're, like, red flags, and it's not good. Do you agree, and how do you think I should work on it? Right? He works on it. And then when it came to, like, him kind of, like, there were still a lot of issues in the relationship, he started to like look at her, and because he talked about how this was like his first girlfriend ever. So that comes into play with like a lot of firsts were with her. That's the easiest way to say it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, a lot of new experiences were with this girl. So he was like, okay, well, there's still like these same issues. And I've kind of like gone through and fixed like all mine kind of, or like most of my major ones, and I'm working on myself. And he looked into it and found like a lot of things that she did that were considered like manipulative and big red flags, and he would try and talk to her about it, and she would like just not, and she would like lie. She would like call her dad and say that he did some stuff but wouldn't really tell the full story, and you know, like a lot of really weird things that he would mention. And Dills mentioned that like she lied about being on the pill. She got knocked up. He was like, yo, you wanna get this baby out? And her reasoning was, no, because if we break up, I still have something to remember you by, which is like super manipulative and super like, that's a control, like, it's not the reason. It's that you want a reason to make the guy stay. Like, that's a super controlling thing. 1, to lie about being on the pill, but 2, your reasoning is like, no, this is to keep you here forever, right? That's pretty much what it actually was.
Frightening.
Yeah, a lot of like very manipulative things that she was doing. I believe was the one that started this whole thing on stream, this whole ordeal. Because I kind of came into it near the middle. I got off work, had a bunch of messages on Discord, logged into RuneScape, got PM'd instantly, go check out a friend. And then it finds out, and then I find out that he finds out that she's been cheating on him. So he goes and like bangs hookers. He admits that he kind of like laughed about it. He went and banged a couple hookers. And so weird, but whatever. And she like went on stream to start like saying this is everything that Dovey does wrong, and he's a horrible person. And then he was like, all right, well, if you're gonna just sit here on my stream and talk shit about me, here's what you did. And then she started like freaking out. She started unplugging his internet midstream and like coming in the room and crying and like, you know, all that stuff, and cutting him off, not letting him speak. And then she calls the cops on him, saying that he beat her while he's streaming, so it's all recorded. Obviously, he didn't beat her.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. And then the cops come to the stream. They're like, yo, just fucking stop trying to talk about her on stream and shit, because, like, she's gonna call again. We don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
And then she was tweeting some shit about him, and then obviously goes private on Twitter. And then at some point, because I went to bed at this point, because it was just like, it kind of died down. But then she went and called the cops again and said that him and his fans were inciting violence against her, and she was like scared for her life.
Right.
So then the cops came and took away the computer to review all the evidence, because all on stream apparently.
Mm.
And the fans were like, he had like no mods in chat, right? Cause
I think he did. They just didn't give a shit.
Well, he originally had no mods, and he had like a couple, like 1,000 viewers or something. But then, like, his stream jumped to like 20K at one point, and it was just like AIDS. And he's new to Twitch, so he just went in chat and just modded like 50 random people, which is the last thing you want. Where people were spamming, if you got banned, PM me, I'll unban you. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Like ASCII, like ASCII art was just like spam the whole time. Whatever. Funny memes, really funny pictures people were making, but it was like just a big fiesta that ended with like the cops coming in. Now he doesn't have a computer to play on.
Yeah, a bit of a shit show.
Yeah, and I think obviously they've broken up. He's moving back to Lithuania, and
hopefully,
hopefully he goes and he learns and grows into a better person and doesn't become insanely depressed. That he
what was it called?
Hopefully he doesn't Emily himself.
I'm thinking, what's the group of guys who hate on women?
Incels?
Incels, yeah. Hopefully he doesn't join that little organization.
I don't think so, because like when he was like talking about it, he was like very introspective and like knew his issues, and he like he was very self-aware once he figured out what was going on. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason why it was brought out on stream was because his girlfriend did it, and he was like, you know what? And that switch goes off, going, I don't give a fuck. Who cares? I'm making money out. Like, people were subbing and donating to him while he was doing this, and like, F that. F that B. But he was probably just like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Fuck it. And just was like, all right, we'll talk. You want to talk about it? Fine, we'll talk about it on stream. No.
Yeah.
No. And then cops get called twice.
So why are we talking about it? That's what everyone's talking about right now, and it's pretty interesting at the time. And although having the conversation now, I'm sitting there being like, this reminds me of when my girlfriend starts telling me about how Kylie Jenner cheated on, it's the Kardashian drama. Someone cheated on someone.
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing, but it's the old school RuneScape version.
It's just funny memes. I just like it for the memes that come out of it.
It's just ridiculous. But it was entertaining at the time.
I just want to see what happens to his content now. Because he went from like, yeah, I play RuneScape all day, so what? To like, I have a family now, I have a girlfriend, I have a kid coming. You know what I mean? He's got all this stuff, and then he's like, yeah, I'm back home. That was pretty messed up. We're going to go back to how things were.
Life was simpler back then. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. I don't know. I guess not much else to say, right? It happened. So let's move it on to our last bit of content, I guess. Well, actually, there's one little thing we should go over real quick, because I forgot to mention it last week. But Vios in Draenor is no longer there. He was moved to Port Sarim.
Yep.
So all that had been fixed.
Yep.
Nothing too big there, though. So the last thing is Maud Monroe has decided to leave the Jagex team. And they say, it is with great sadness to tell you I have left the old school team in Jagex. I've had such a great time working with the team and delivering new content in the past 8 months. I wish the team and the community all the best in the future. Keep on doing what you love. So there for 8 months, now gone.
So what did they do in Jagex? We've had Sween, Aiza, and now Monroe leave.
It was a junior content developer.
Okay. Just a regular dev.
Yeah.
Probably pay related. Because, like, devs come and go. I know, especially if that person is new, to the industry. I don't know how old Mon Monroe is, but you should be looking at career hop, like at least in North America, every 3 years for like the younger generation, due to like your company doesn't value you as much as like they should nowadays.
Yeah.
So if you want to like actually further your career, you're supposed to like, maybe it's every 2 years, but yeah, like 2 or 3 years to show that you can stay and work and be a team player and all that environment and but also get the experience. And then you can, at that point, you're able to move and get what you actually deserve in pay.
Yeah.
You can't just like, actually, my buddy who's been working at this one company for 3 years got offered by a competitor company. And they're like, yo, like my guy, like the president's like right hand man was like, knows this guy and is like, knows the work he does. And he's like, yeah, he recommended us to hire you, try and poach you from your job. So can we? He's like, I don't know. Can you? Well, 30% pay raise. And he's like, oh shit, I'm probably going to, you know what I mean?
Smart thing to do.
And then, but it's like, if he stayed there, there's no way you can say, can I get a 30% raise?
Yeah.
Like that's not, unless you're like, hey, I'm getting a 30% raise over here. And like the new place offers him way better benefits too. Especially because he does crazy overtime and they actually will give him money for overtime. It's weird.
Yeah.
Salary stuff. But it's like, well, can you go back to your original company? Like, give me 40% of a raise? Like 30%, like that's a big pay raise.
Oh yeah.
That's not gonna be the standard. Don't just go around asking that. But like
yeah, boss, can I get that 30% raise yet?
So
Nope.
That's why I bring it up. Maybe this was very much like, hey, I like RuneScape. Hey, I got a job here. I'll work here until I find a place that like pays me better, because Jagex is known for its bad pay.
Yeah.
But you probably get amazing experience and most likely a good recommendation.
That's what it could be. So Connor RS is the one who pointed this out on our Discord, and then Magpie also asked me to dig in a little bit deeper because we do know that Fukong Interactive, the Chinese company that owns Jagex right now, is considering selling part or all of Jagex. Is it related?
Of their shares.
Well, they 100% own Jagex.
They have the majority, they don't 100% own it.
I was reading that they did.
I find it really hard to believe that one company owns 100% of the shares of a company. I'd be extremely surprised, because usually there will be a majority shareholder. One person will own the majority, but then there's other people that will sit on the board of directors and stuff like that, and they have like smaller portions and whatnot.
So I must have closed the link now, but at one point it was like 4 groups had owned Jagex, and this company bought it from all 4 of them.
Yeah, I still find that whatever.
Yeah, it could be. Anyways, let's cue that music for a minute though. It's been a while. So I was looking into it, and it's actually kind of hard to find information on this company. I was looking, and you can find like their stock, how much they're worth and stuff, but it was very hard to find anything that they actually did.
Well, they're a mining company.
And then they had a subsection that owned a bunch of gaming companies.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find actual like articles and stuff, except for this recent one that we had talked about a couple episodes about when they wanted to sell Jagex. So I read this year that they are suffering a loss of $64.5 million. And I was looking at their charts, and a big part of this loss happened in January 2018.
Yeah.
But I couldn't figure out anywhere saying why that happened, where that dip came from. But it was a huge dip.
So, interactive entertainment being the gaming side? Or is this the mining side of the company?
So I think this is the gaming side.
Because the mining side, like, you gotta look at, like, Trump might have an effect, but, like,
So there
trade
was stuff
deals,
with that, with the tariffs and all that happening.
trade deals. I know, so there are a lot, especially in Canada, it's a big issue in Canada, but there are a lot of foreign investors from China that invest in certain things, such as, in Canada specifically, all of our cellular infrastructure.
Yeah.
All of it, but then also housing. And I know a lot of companies realize that, like, China in general has a very aggressive trade strategy, and globally, there's like people are working together to like stop China. So I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of countries in debt to China, and what China did was pretty much own a very popular port for shipping and trading, and then they tax and they have a tariff for everyone that wants to use it. And that's like one of the major things that they do, that like it's like they fuck over everyone to make as much money as possible. But a lot of companies are pulling out of other countries in general because of like legal actions that have happened to China as a whole. And companies in general are very close to Chinese government.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing in Canada where Huawei, is it?
Yeah.
They had like back doors to all. They like made it specifically so like conspiracy music's going, so I can say this, but so Chinese government can monitor our cellular use. Like you're able to hack into the towers and see who's connected and doing what. And then also with the housing market, a lot of like illegal like tax evasion type things, like in Canada specifically. I know major housing construction companies, their main buyers were Chinese companies that would just buy subdivisions.
Yeah.
And then, but like here, that's kind of, there's been legislation to stop that. But globally, that's been happening a lot. And I'm assuming that like they want to sell Jagex because Jagex was like making money. It was one of the few things that like was making the money. But I think they might, if you look at the other games and stuff they own, they're probably going to be trying to sell that too, because of like legal implications that like are probably we're going to see in like 10 years from now, where like, because a lot of companies are like pulling out of other countries, or like Chinese companies are pulling out of other countries in general. So I've chalked up the whole Jagex thing to like that, where like to kind of save their ass and like step away maybe, because yeah, it's the way that all that works. I've always assumed that was why they're selling it, because it I don't think it would make sense to sell off like one of the few things that's making you money,
unless they want to sell it while it's at top, because they don't know if the 7 years coming up, and they know this, and they like, let's sell it now while it's at its high point, and we'll go buy MapleStory. I don't know,
Nexon.
Nexon.
But like that would be like because you like with the stocks, it like gets looked at what, quarterly. They have shareholder meetings and stuff like that, and so you'd have to ask, because right now there are shareholder meetings and stuff. Like in the store I work at, we had to do a bunch of stuff. I just shredded so much paper. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But there was like a
microwave some laptops.
Yeah. I just had to like do a sale, but then bring it as a cash sale, but then also as a debit transaction. I'm totally joking still. but I know we had to change or do a bunch of different things. Like we had to do some specific things at work due to their like shareholders meeting. Nothing memey about shredding papers and stuff, but like they revamped how we have to do things like at our store to be like, hey, we made this much money and we've optimized our stores by this much percentage by doing this, this, and this, right? When they give their presentations. And so like, and my manager's like, it's stupid, but they see this as optimization and there's a shareholder, so they're going to make us do this for this little, just, you got to go with it. So it would be weird to go into a meeting being like, yeah, we're losing money on all these things. Oh yeah, that one thing we're making money? Yeah, but we're selling it. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it is. It's hard to know exactly what their thought process is, but I'm sure as this develops, we'll figure out more. Time goes on. They might not even sell it. It's just something that they've said that they're thinking about doing. So,
yep.
Really, what it could turn out to be is, as you had mentioned earlier, is that a lot of people go to Jagex. They don't pay the greatest, and most people have to fly in. Right? They have to move. Yeah, the pay isn't great. Plus, like, the experience you get there isn't always translatable. Like, they use a language called RuneScript. So by working there long term, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot because you can't go work for another company and use the RuneScript experience you have, because it's like a language that no one else is going to use.
Yep.
So a lot of people, I guess, they find that I'm kind of wasting time here learning these different languages and coding and stuff, and I may as well go work for a company that I'm going to use a language that's more popular and it's actually going to benefit me down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's like a double-edged sword, because not many people want to work for Jagex, especially long-term. But at the same time, the people that do work there long-term are doing it because they love the game, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a pros and cons sort of deal. But I was looking through, so as I was digging through my expert journalism, I came across their like job page that I was looking at, and I thought one little funny thing that they offer as like a perk.
A Neve blow-up sex doll?
Oh, you know it. Everyone gets one, even the women.
Everyone just gets... They have one.
Yeah. It's in the Neve room.
Yeah. Is that an Ellie shield or a crystal shield?
Shit.
That's a semen joke.
It's good. But yeah, I thought it was funny. They mention here that you get free cycling repair. You get your bikes fixed for free.
Nice. Economically or environmentally friendly. That's good.
Fresh fruit is delivered to your team every day.
That's kind of sweet.
And they have a great coffee machine.
Okay.
Coffee grounds are not included.
So do they say that?
No, but it'd be funny if they did. Yeah, just those three things kind of stuck out. But they also say they have an on-site canteen and pub.
Hold on. Is Monroe male or female?
Like male, I think.
Okay. I had a whole conspiracy I'd brewing up, but that just kind of stopped it. Never mind.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Yeah, that's about it. We'll see who's leaving, who's going, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that about does it for what we have to talk about. Anything else that you know of?
The only thing I can think of is maybe work environment. I know small indie companies have like inner circles and stuff like that.
Okay.
That really like ruin the morale. And I want to say part of like, because Jagex used to be people just work on shit.
Yeah.
Which could have easily had like an inside like the boys club, right? And then if you're like new, you're kind of just like, what do I do? Well, we're working on this. So what do I do? You know what I mean?
Just do your job, man.
I think Riot Games, there was a big like scandal. Like they would just drop N bombs and F slurs.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like the very vulgar language, and it was very offensive. There was like sexual harassment going on all the time, and even at Blizzard, there was like an employee that like is either suing them or there was something that was going on with the employee, and like I think it was Blizzard where like he said that like people would fart on him. Like
so weird.
So some of these like companies that start off small, but they get really big, have like. You know, cause you'll say like some. I mean, I don't say I like PewDiePie bridge like my buddies when I'm hanging out. It's a really weird reference joke. Don't worry about it. But
right.
I say like dumb stuff and make dumb jokes to my friends that like I wouldn't say. Like they're not like racist or anything, but like that happens in like a small company. But then as it blows up, that environment is still there.
Yeah.
And it can now at a certain point it becomes like a hostile work environment. I don't think that's the case though. But
no, I don't get that vibe at all, but you never know with these things, right?
It could easily just be pay and then like because how long did Mod I know he had like a 3-hour commute and Airbnbs for days and bad pay. And that's why he left. Like he said why he left. Yeah. And then, like, but Mod, like, what worries me is, like, Mod Sween left.
No.
Mod Stone?
Maybe.
Who was the guy that was the community person that left?
Zaiza.
Who was the other guy? There was Mod S. There's Sween or Stone, and we talked about it, because they said they would leave the company if...
Oh, it might have been Stone, then.
Yeah, okay. Mod Stone left.
If it's not, then apologize. I'm just a little tired. I don't really want to go searching through the Twitters.
Yeah. One of them left, and then we speculated on why, but person didn't give a reason, so it's probably just for pay.
Yeah. It's probably it, pay and experience. And yeah, you said jumping sideways to another company.
Maybe Mod Ash just gives like really bad back rubs, but he loves to give back rubs.
We got to deal with.
Maybe it's Blizzard 2.0 and they're getting farted on.
Yeah, that's It's a weird thing to complain about.
Yeah.
I mean, I would complain about that if I was getting farted on every day.
What if you're not getting farted on enough, though? What if, like, the boys are just tooting on each other and you're like, man, I want to be in on this.
You jump in the middle of the circle and they all just stop.
Deegan, it's not funny. You just sniff. Just, like, super gross.
Oh, boy. Anyways, yeah, that's it for the news stuff.
Yeah.
And normally this is where we teleport back in time, where we talk about some other updates that happened. But guess what? This week, no updates actually happened. And no dev blogs or anything. So, next week. And because this episode's going on a little bit longer, and for the lore section, we will be talking about Theater of Blood next, which is a big topic. I think we're going to postpone that one as well. Just get this puppy out there as fast as possible. So let's move it over to the Grand Exchange. We got to do some good old selling out and begging, all that fun stuff. So the first things first, if you want to dive into those audio books, by the way, I don't think the RuneScape books are on there, which sucks. Anyways, you can go to audibletrial.com/wild. It's not really a good upsell. Probably should have left that part out.
You should have said, like, hey, there's a chance.
Yeah.
50-50.
Maybe they got added this week. Who knows? Yeah. I certainly don't. So, yeah, if you want to get in on that, go to audibletrial.com/wild. Get a free month and a free audiobook.
I will say this. The books are both there and not there until you go and check after you type in audibletrial.com/wild. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So you'll never know unless you check it out.
But do you know what is there? Our Patreon, where you can directly support the show. Patreon.com/The Wilderness Podcast. Our supporter of the week is, I'm very sorry if I mispronounced his name, Anthony Nizel.
Nate is not.
There it is. All the way from the Fremenic lands. So thank you very much for supporting the show. It is awesome. Whether you're from the Fremenic Isles or the mainland, we appreciate it greatly.
Even Great Krend?
Yeah, the Great Krends. That's
as of recent, we do accept Patreons from the Great Krend.
Mm-hmm. Since Vios got moved.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal. We just didn't agree with his choices. Didn't mean to subject the Krend people to that. Anyways, let's slide on what we're actually doing with the show here. So we have a hide and seek event that we've been talking about that feels like months now. Probably has been. It's just been hard to coordinate it because I've been just busy on the weekends through work and real life responsibilities. But we are hoping to have it actually this week, and we've been talking about it. But go onto the Discord and check Twitter for the actual information, just in case things do change, because they can at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's hard to actually schedule all that stuff out. But yeah, hide and seek. I'll be doing it with Magpie, where you can have to find him somewhere around the world with some hints. Be the first person to show up, get some money. Be the second, get some money, but not as much. Be the third, get the last little bit. But yeah, if you want to get some money, that's how you're going to do it. So looking for this Saturday, midday at some point. So check on our Discord on the events channel if that's something that you're interested in. And the last thing we got going on is our little book club, where we are discussing the RuneScape novels week by week. We set X amount of chapters to read. It's not much. It's for this week. So if you haven't started reading it now, you can easily catch up if you're an avid reader. I say so far, I'm 7 chapters in. It's pretty good. I've been enjoying it a lot, actually. It's got a lot of cool things. They paint the world really well. You know, Falador, Taverley, all the places. It really changes your perspective of the game. And yeah, I've been enjoying it. So yeah, if you want to join in, we're going to be on week 3. So it's still time to catch up.
Yeah, and I guess I have a little thing too. It was supposed to be for 99 Slayer, but I guess in celebration of like Slayer, Tebow drop, and rebuild and all that stuff, I guess just throw it all into one. I want to do like a wild CC mass raid where just like anyone who has members just like come into a raid and just like have some fun. If you no requirements besides like if you can get there.
Yeah, and if you're a lower level or you've never done raids before,
doesn't matter.
You're going to be dying a lot, but hey, it's all part of the fun. You won't lose any of your items.
Yeah, if you're really experienced, you can come in and flex. If you're inexperienced, you can come in and have some fun. Just like, yeah, do whatever. It would be a free-for-all. So if you get an item, it's yours. You're not obligated to split it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all for fun. It's definitely not like a learning experience. Not like we're gonna go through each room to like explain and teach everyone. It's just like it's gonna just be a clown fiesta. We're gonna go in, die a bunch, just like have some fun.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, TBD, like to be determined.
TBA, to be announced.
Well, okay.
I've never heard TBD.
The day to be TBD.
Day's not available.
Yeah,
NA.
I only say that because I was gonna do it on the 2nd, but then I got scheduled for the 2nd.
Yeah, and
then I asked every coworker, and none of them responded to take my day.
Nice.
Whatever. I'm not salty. I will announce, I guess, hopefully next week, because my schedule hasn't been fully updated yet for the upcoming weeks. It's kind of getting changed around a lot, but
yeah. Same idea as the hide and seek, then, right? Keep your eye out on the channel.
Yeah, I guess.
Very cool stuff. And then lastly, the Dolphin on Discord has given me a handful of Steam codes for different games. He said to give them away.
Nice.
Not sure how we're going to do that yet, but...
Capital QX94. Just start listing off Steam codes.
Shit, I guess we could. Maybe we'll do that in an upcoming episode.
People swerving off the road to pull out like their Steam thing and enter in the code. Finds out we redeemed all of them 2 weeks ago.
It was hentai games?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Anyways, if you want to come hang out with us in-game, you can do that in our clan chat at WildCC. Our Facebook is facebook.com/thewildernesspodcast. Our email is at thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com, and our Twitter is thewildernessrs. And our Discord is pinned on both Twitter and Facebook if you want to come hang out there. Deegan, you got your things, right?
Twitch, Twitter, Deegan RS.
And there it is. And we had a song request from Level 100 Raichu, and he said, I want to suggest a song track, The Militia. First song I heard on Zaya, and it's got a gritty instrumentals with a sweet melody. So this music track was unlocked in the Shazian area on the Great Kurend, composed by Adam Bond. So these past couple episodes have been pretty long.
Yep.
Very quality of life has lots to talk about, so there it is. Thanks for sticking in there, and until next week, we will see you guys then.
Yeah, have a good one.
Take care, everybody.